Chapter 38:55. Everyone couldn't help but roll their eyes. You're so ugly. Even the evil spirits of hell aren't as ugly as you. Don't you have any self-awareness? How dare you ask everyone if you're beautiful? How could you have the nerve to ask that? You're really too ugly. The great dream empress curled her lips. Seeing how ugly this woman was, her confidence as a woman was boosted. Everyone nodded in agreement. This woman. She was so ugly that Lin Feng and the others felt like crying. All of you deserve to die. All of you deserve to die. The woman roared angrily, her sharp claws grabbing at the air. Swoosh, swoosh. Numerous claw lights flew out, grabbing at everyone. Lin Feng was also locked down by a claw. When he sensed the chi of that claw, he was shocked. When he sensed the claw light, Lin Feng's face turned pale. The claw light's aura was too terrifying. Lin Feng felt a thick aura of death from the claw light. He didn't dare to hesitate and quickly took out the ruler's armor. Then, Lin Feng took out the black dragon sword. Holding the black dragon sword in his hand, he swung it at the claw light. Clang! Lin Feng's black dragon sword collided with the claw light. In an instant, Lin Feng felt as if a primordial immortal mountain had crashed into him. That kind of collision was simply too violent. Lin Feng was sent flying. Barf! He couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His face turned as white as a sheet. Lin Feng felt as if his internal organs had shifted. The others weren't in good condition after taking the woman's attack. Large chunks of flesh were clawed off the three-headed viper's body. Blood spurted out. A bloody hole appeared in the nine-eyed Emperor Lord's chest. Half of the Great Rock Emperor's wing was almost torn off. A large chunk of the Bloodwing Emperor's abdomen was clawed off. One of the Cloud Pool Emperor's eyes was blinded. The Divine Monkey Emperor's back had a huge wound. His spine was exposed. It was extremely terrifying. The ancestor of the Black Tortoise was in a better condition. His true body was a sacred beast, the Black Tortoise. His defense was extremely strong. Therefore, the woman's attack was unable to break through the Black Turtle Patriarch's defense. As for the Great Dream Empress, she wasn't a simple woman. Lin Feng saw a claw light about to grab the Great Dream Monarch's body, but who would have thought that the Great Dream Monarch's body would become very illusory? Thus, the Great Dream Emperor Lord successfully dodged the woman's terrifying attack. That's too cruel. Hurry up and run. Ancestor of the Black Tortoise shouted. We can't run away. The 8 trigrams formation is right outside. The 8 trigrams formation must be controlled by this woman. If we run into the courtyard outside and get trapped by the 8 trigrams formation, we won't be able to do anything even if we ask for help, Lin Feng said in a deep voice. Hearing this, the Black Tortoise ancestor's expression changed again and again. It was indeed as Lin Feng had said. If it was too dangerous to go out now, none of you can go out. You'll all die here. The woman's voice was hoarse and filled with resentment. A large amount of corpse energy surged out of her body, and the corpse energy covered the sky. It sealed the entire courtyard. The woman wanted to catch a turtle in a jar. She wanted to trap Lin Feng and the others here. Beauty, let's talk things over. There's no need to fight, right? Lin Feng said as he looked at the ugly woman who was emitting a foul smell. He felt that he was lying when he said the word beauty. However, he had to do this in order to survive. Kid, it's too late to beg for mercy now. All of you deserve to die. The woman's sharp and ear-piercing voice rang out. Then, she pounced on Lin Feng and the others. Right at this moment, the Bloodwing Emperor waved his hand and a treasure flew out. It was a treasure. It was a golden alms bowl. The golden alms bowl was densely covered with runes. It seemed to be a Buddhist treasure. Those runes were also Buddhist runes. The Bloodwing Emperor directly took out the golden alms bowl. The runes on the golden alms bowl awakened. Each rune revealed the figure of an arhat. There were a total of 108 arhats. Those arhats were all sitting cross-legged and chanting Buddhist scriptures. The golden alms bowl continued to grow in size. It turned upside down and trapped the woman inside. This treasure is powerful. Lin Feng could not help but be shocked. Clang! The golden alms bowl fell to the ground. As for the woman, she was trapped inside the golden alms bowl. This forbidden treasure won't last long. Hurry up and leave this place. the Bloodwing Emperor said in a low voice as he turned and fled outside. Lin Feng and the others did not dare to hesitate. One after another, they fled towards the outside. Everyone rushed out of the courtyard. As soon as they rushed out, they saw the Lord of the Undead leading a dozen Emperor-level undead over from afar. Damn, what bad luck. When they saw these people, everyone could not help but roll their eyes. The Lord of the Undead was too powerful. In addition, the subordinates beside him were so terrifying. Naturally, the group of people did not hesitate and fled into the depths of the courtyard. Chase! The Lord of the Undead waved his hand and shouted coldly. He and his subordinates quickly chased after Lin Feng and the others. It was not easy to get rid of these people. Some people chose to leave the group and act alone. However, no matter who left the group, two powerful undead chased after them. Damn, why do I feel that guy's eyes are staring at you? The Black Turtle Ancestor glanced at the Lord of the Undead and then at Lin Feng. This guy also turned and ran toward another passage. After the Black Turtle Ancestor left, the Great Rock Emperor and the Divine Monkey Emperor also left. In the end, only Lin Feng, the Three-Headed Viper, and the Emperor Jian were left. Why are you chasing after me? Lin Feng looked at the Lord of the Undead gloomily. The Lord of the Undead said coldly, "You took something that does not belong to you. Now, you'd better hand it over." Lin Feng knew that the Lord of the Undead was talking about the 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram. The 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram was very targeted, and its power was extremely terrifying. However, to the Lord of the Undead, the 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram did not seem to be indispensable. However, the Lord of the Undead was so interested in the 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram. He did not know the reason. Lin Feng felt that there were many strange things about this. Since I've already taken it, then it's mine. Lin Feng curled his lips and said, "You don't know the meaning of death?" The Lord of the Undead said coldly. He increased his speed and chased after Lin Feng and the others. There were 5 Emperor-level undead beside him. If these people caught up, the situation would be extremely dangerous. Therefore, Lin Feng, the Emperor Jian, and the Three-Headed Viper also increased their speed. However, the three of them... Chapter 3856. The Lord of the Undead Creature's cultivation was already terrifying enough. Now, in addition to the 5 great undead creatures, Lin Feng, Emperor Jian, and the Three-Headed Viper were naturally in a very bad situation. However, Lin Feng was not without something to rely on. He relied on the 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram. Previously, Lin Feng had relied on the 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram to scare away the Lord of the Undead Creatures. Now, would he be able to scare away the Lord of the Undead Creatures and the others again? Lin Feng was not sure either. Last time, the Lord of the Undead Creatures was alone, and now he had 5 helpers. Of course, what made Lin Feng feel a little more at ease was that he now had the 2 great helpers, Emperor Jian and the Three-Headed Viper. The 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram floated above Lin Feng, shaking out waves of powerful fluctuations. Lin Feng looked at the Lord of the Undead Creatures with an indifferent expression and said, "Now that I am in control of the 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram, it is a great restraint on you. Could it be that you really want to fight until both sides suffer? Did you give up just now?" The Lord of the Undead Creatures said coldly, "If you don't want to fight until both sides suffer, you should hand over the 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram. However, you can rest assured that if you hand over the 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram, I will definitely not kill you and can let you go." Lin Feng naturally did not believe the Lord of the Undead Creature's words. Believing his words was better than believing that pigs could climb trees. Looks like there's no room for discussion between us. Since that's the case, then let's fight. Lin Feng sneered, and a powerful mana poured into the 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram. At the same time, Emperor Jian, the Three-Headed Viper, they all attacked. Powerful mana poured into the 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram. After the 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram absorbed the mana of the 3 of them, it became extremely powerful, and waves of terrifying fluctuations surged out from the 3 Pure 8 Trigrams diagram. Those waves of fluctuations contained a power that could destroy the heavens and earth. Shwa, shwa, whoosh. The triclear 8 trigrams diagram each shot out a beam of light. The 3 beams of light fused together, and then shrouded the Lord of Undead and the other 5 undead creatures. Do it, the Lord of the Undead creatures said coldly as he stepped forward. Boundless corpse chi gushed out from his body. The corpse chi was simply too powerful. It directly blasted towards the light beam that swept out from the 3 pristine 8 trigrams diagram. Bang! The corpse energy gushing out from the main body of the undead creature collided with the light beam from the 3 clear 8 trigrams diagram in midair. The light beam from the 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram gained the upper hand, suppressing the corpse energy gushing out from the main body of the undead creature. At this time, the other 5 creatures also made their moves. Large amounts of corpse chi gushed out from their bodies. The corpse power surging out of their bodies merged with the corpse power surging out of the main body of the undead creature, and all of them blasted towards the light beam emitted from the trigrams. The light beam from the 3 clear 8 trigrams diagram was immediately suppressed after the 5 undead creatures joined the battle. The corpse energy grew stronger and stronger, constantly suppressing the light beam from the 3 clear 8 trigrams diagram. The light beam from the 3 clear 8 trigrams diagram was constantly compressed towards Lin Feng and the others. So, the light beam from the 3 clear 8 trigrams diagram became shorter and shorter. The situation. It was extremely bad. The Lord of the Undead creatures said gloomily, "Boy, despair, tremble. Soon, you will fall into my hands. When the time comes, let's see how you die." The Lord of the Undead creatures felt very refreshed now. Last time, he was forced to retreat by Lin Feng's 3 clear 8 trigrams diagram, which made him depressed for a long time. But now, he could finally take revenge. Lin Feng's face became more and more gloomy. If this continued, the situation would be extremely bad for him. Therefore, now he had to find a way to reverse the current unfavorable situation. If he couldn't find a way to reverse the unfavorable situation, then Lin Feng knew that he was likely to fall into eternal damnation. However, Lin Feng had never thought of a way to reverse the current unfavorable situation. The Holy Monk skeleton in the Demon Palace. At this time, the Demon Lord's voice resounded in Lin Feng's mind. Hearing this, Lin Feng's eyes lit up slightly. The Holy Monk skeleton in the Demon Palace was indeed very extraordinary, and its origin was extremely mysterious. At the beginning, Lin Feng was unable to control the Holy Monk skeleton and was unable to move it out at all. However, as Lin Feng's cultivation increased, Lin Feng was gradually able to control the Holy Monk skeleton. Of course, at the current stage, Lin Feng could only move the Holy Monk skeleton, but he was still unable to activate it. He wanted to activate the Holy Monk skeleton. Perhaps, he still needed to greatly increase his cultivation to be able to do this. Lin Feng's divine sense communicated with the Holy Monk skeleton. Shwa. In the next moment, a light flashed. The Holy Monk skeleton suddenly flew out. The Holy Monk skeleton emitted waves of terrifying aura. Endless holy light surged out from the Holy Monk skeleton, and those holy lights were dazzling and incomparably gorgeous. The Holy Monk skeleton sat cross-legged in the holy light. Although he was just a skeleton, he gave off an incomparably sacred feeling. After the Holy Monk skeleton appeared, the holy light spread out in all directions. Those dazzling holy light enveloped Lin Feng, Emperor Juyan, and the 3-headed viper. At the same time, that holy light also enveloped the Lord of the Undead and the other 5 undead. The Lord of the Undead and the other 5 undead couldn't help but frown slightly. Although they were incomparably powerful, after feeling the aura and fluctuations emitted from the holy light, the Lord of the Undead and the other 5 undead felt that the situation seemed to be a little wrong. This was an instinctive reaction. It was like the ability of a cultivator's sudden inspiration. Retreat, the Lord of the Undead said in a deep voice. He took the lead to retreat, and the other 5 undead also retreated one after another. Then, they released an even more powerful corpse aura, wanting to use that corpse aura to devour the holy light. However, when the corpse aura came in contact with the holy light, It actually burned fiercely in midair. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng's face showed an extremely shocked expression. Those holy lights, they were really different. Soon, the corpse aura was completely burned away, and the speed of the holy light suddenly increased, enveloping the Lord of the Undead and the other 5 undead. One of the undead creatures retreated at a slightly slower speed. Then, something shocking happened. The undead's body actually spontaneously combusted. That undead wanted to extinguish the flames on its body, but it failed. That terrifying undead creature was finally burned to ashes. It's him. It's his skeleton after he died. The Lord of the Undead couldn't help but exclaim. He seemed to have thought of the origin of the holy monk's skeleton. Therefore, his gaze towards the holy monk's skeleton was uncertain, and his expression was extremely ugly. Lin Feng's heart couldn't help but tremble. The hymn that the Lord of the Undead mentioned. Chapter 3857. The Lord of the Undead creatures had a great background when he was alive. From the moment he transformed into an undead creature and had an army of 100,000 undead creatures under his command, one could tell how extraordinary he was. If it wasn't for the 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram, Lin Feng, Emperor Jiyan, and the 3-headed viper naturally wouldn't be a match for the Lord of the Undead creatures. They would most likely die at the hands of the Lord of the Undead creatures. However, even someone as powerful as the Lord of the Undead creatures showed such a shocked expression when he thought of the holy monk's skeleton. There was even a trace of horror in his expression. This was enough to explain too many problems. Do you know who he is? Lin Feng looked at the Lord of the Undead creatures and asked, So what if I know? But it doesn't seem like I have the obligation to tell you. The Lord of the Undead creatures sneered. His mood was quite bad, because he was about to get rid of Lin Feng. Who would have thought? Surprisingly, Lin Feng had taken out a holy monk skeleton and had turned the tide of the battle. This kind of thing, if it was anyone else, who wouldn't be depressed? Lin Feng knew that he couldn't get anything useful from the Lord of the Undead creatures, so he tried to continue to communicate with the holy monk skeleton. In fact, the current Lin Feng could only move the holy monk skeleton. It was difficult to do other things. For example, Lin Feng tried to inject his magic power into the holy monk skeleton's body, but he couldn't do it. The surface of the holy monk skeleton was surrounded by a layer of special power, which blocked Lin Feng's magic power from entering. It could be said to be extremely strange. The only thing Lin Feng could do was to stand aside and watch the holy monk skeleton release a powerful attack. The holy light kept spreading. The undead creatures were known as undead creatures, but it wasn't completely undead, because between heaven and earth, there were always some special powers that could restrain the undead creatures. So, when those powers that could restrain the undead creatures appeared, there was a high probability of killing the undead creatures. For example, the holy light now. It had just killed an undead creature. The Lord of the Undead creatures and the other 4 undead creatures chose to retreat quickly. They did not dare to let the holy light envelop their bodies. This was a lesson learned from the past. It was right in front of him. How could he dare to take the risk? Brat, I have to say, you're really lucky. But you took something that doesn't belong to you. Therefore, this matter will definitely not end here. The Lord of the Undead creatures looked coldly at Lin Feng. Immediately after, he led the other 4 undead creatures and quickly left. After the Lord of the Undead and the other 4 undead left, Lin Feng let out a sigh of relief. Whoosh! The skeleton of the holy monk disappeared on its own. He returned to the Chonglu demonic palace. Lin Feng couldn't help smacking his lips. He couldn't help but feel that the skeleton of the holy monk was a little strange. However, Lin Feng was unable to pinpoint exactly what was strange about it. Lin Feng put away the 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram, then walked into the depths of the forest with Emperor Jiyan and the 3-headed viper. When the Lord of the Undead and the others had chased after them, the others had all fled. This made Lin Feng fully realize one thing. The so-called allies were the most unreliable. Only his own people, such as Emperor Jiyan, the 3-headed viper, they were the most reliable. Because no matter what happened, Emperor Jiyan and the 3-headed viper would never betray him. The streets of the East Imperial City were intertwined and extended in all directions. It was extremely huge. Not long after, Lin Feng saw 4 to 5 cultivators at the corner of a street. At the same time, he also saw a breathtakingly beautiful female cultivator. When he saw the female cultivator, Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. That female cultivator. Not anyone else. It was that extremely ugly and terrifying female cultivator from before. Lin Feng couldn't help but mourn for those cultivators. Those cultivators were really unlucky to have been targeted by that woman. Perhaps they would all be wiped out. Lin Feng and the other 2 hurriedly left. They rushed towards the depths of the forest. Perhaps there would be the opportunity they wanted in the depths. However, the East Imperial City wasn't safe at night. There were vengeful spirits floating everywhere. It was extremely terrifying. Moreover, there were some terrifying corpse demons entrenched here. A scream came from the street in front of them. Lin Feng and the other 2 were alarmed and quickly rushed over. When they arrived, they only saw a pool of blood on the ground, but they didn't find anything. This caused their hearts to tremble slightly. It was too strange. They didn't know what kind of creature was responsible for this. It was a peerless terror. There were still some cultivators who were attracted over. After arriving here, they couldn't help but frown with solemn expressions. There are some unknown dangers in this ancient city. Perhaps it's even more dangerous than that female cultivator. Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. He felt that there might be such a possibility. Lin Feng, Emperor Juyin, and the 3-headed viper left. He took out the Buddhist treasure Kasaya. This treasure floated above, protecting the 3 of them. However, Lin Feng still felt a cold aura. In the darkness, it was as if something was sizing him up. However, when Lin Feng used his spiritual will to search, he didn't find anything. This was the strangest part. Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. Perhaps it was because of the Buddhist treasure Kasaya, but the existence in the darkness didn't appear. However, Lin Feng felt that the terrifying existence had never left and had always been following him. This made him feel a little uneasy. Finally, Lin Feng and the other 2 arrived at the depths of the city. There was a huge palace here. Inside, there were endless halls. Now, the walls of the palace had collapsed. But it was estimated. In the past, this palace was the palace where the demon Emperor Tai lived. People came here one after another, and then entered the palace. Lin Feng and the other 2 were no exception as they rushed into the palace. Most of the palaces in the palace had already collapsed. However, there were still some palaces that were well preserved. Many people came in front of a huge palace. Now, the palace was surrounded by black gas. The black gas turned into mysterious runes. Each mysterious rune contained an extremely terrifying power that made one's heart palpitate. Those runes intertwined together and completely sealed the entire palace. There were already many people who were breaking the restrictions of the palace. They wanted to open the palace and enter to see what was inside. In the end, the restrictions around the palace were broken. Many cultivators entered the palace. The interior of the palace was very large. Lin Feng, Emperor Juyin, and the 3-headed viper also entered the palace. After entering the palace, they immediately found that the palace was filled with a rotten aura. On the ground, there were many skeletons. Because the people who died were too long ago, those skeletons would shatter at the slightest touch. Boom! Violent fluctuations came from inside. Some cultivators seemed to have found something good, so a battle broke out. Chapter 38:58. The undying phoenix's body emitted a shocking energy fluctuation. It flapped its wings. The void seemed to be about to split open. Many cultivators rushed out, wanting to catch the undying phoenix. When Lin Feng saw the undying phoenix, he was shocked. When the undying phoenix came out, one of the 9 Emperor avatars that Lin Feng had refined, the Holy Phoenix Emperor avatar, started to fluctuate violently. Lin Feng had obtained the refining method of the 9 Emperor avatars a long time ago. After refining it successfully, he only needed to find the original spirit of the 9 Emperor avatars to awaken them. As he continued to find new original spirits of the 9 Emperor avatars, the 9 Emperor avatars would become more and more powerful. Once the 9 Emperor avatars completed their transformation, their combat strength would soar greatly. The 9 Emperor avatars could bring Lin Feng different abilities. In addition, the 9 Emperor avatars were related to the legendary 9 Emperors painting and the inheritance of the 9 Emperors. The 9 Emperors of the Demon Clan were at the peak of cultivation in the past. One could imagine how powerful the 9 Emperors painting that they had refined together was. Of course, in addition to the 9 Emperors painting, the inheritance of the 9 Emperors was enough to make countless people crazy. It was rumored that the 9 Emperors painting was the #1 Emperor weapon. In fact, this rumor was not accurate because when the 9 Emperors painting was first refined, it was the #1 Emperor weapon. But the key was that the 9 Emperors painting was a treasure with a high growth rate and would continue to evolve. Just like Lin Feng's chaotic ancient lamp, when it was first refined, its level was very low. But now, it was an Emperor weapon. In the future, it might become an immortal weapon, or even surpass an immortal weapon. Therefore, it was obvious that the 9 Emperors portrait, which was ranked first right after being refined, would become a terrifying divine weapon in the future. Lin Feng had always hoped to awaken the 9 Emperor avatars as soon as possible because he felt that once all the 9 Emperor avatars were awakened, then perhaps he could get some clues about the 9 Emperors painting or the inheritance of the 9 Emperors. Now, among the 9 Emperor avatars, Lin Feng had awakened the avatar of the golden-winged roc, the Qiong Qi, the white tiger, the heaven-eyed demonic snake, and the great radiant angel. As for the other 4 clones, the black tortoise clone, the Taodai clone, the void divine beast clone, and the undying phoenix clone had yet to awaken. It had been a while since Lin Feng had seen the original spirit of the 9 Emperors' avatars. But now, Lin Feng actually saw the original soul of the undying phoenix. The undying phoenix, Nirvana rebirth, this was an almost heaven-defying ability. This ability was different from Lin Feng's immortal bloodline ability. Lin Feng possessed the undying bloodline. If he was killed, there was a chance that he would be reborn. This kind of rebirth was an ability obtained by successfully activating the power of one's bloodline the moment one was killed. However, there was a prerequisite for this sort of rebirth. That was, one's flesh and soul could not be destroyed by the other party. That was because this was the bloodline rebirth technique. If one's flesh and soul were destroyed, one would be completely dead. Therefore, there was a limit to the immortal bloodline's rebirth. The Nirvana Phoenix was another kind of rebirth. Nirvana meant that a ball of flame would ignite one's body and turn it into nothingness. The Nirvana Phoenix did not rely on flesh and blood to be reborn. Instead, it relied on mental strength to be reborn. In other words, it relied on the power of the soul to be reborn. Flesh and soul were the foundation of the physical body. Mental strength, on the other hand, was the foundation of the soul. You could not have your cake and eat it too. Therefore, the rebirth of the immortal bloodline and the Nirvana Phoenix, one relied on the bloodline to be reborn, while the other relied on the spirit to be reborn. Both could be reborn, but there was a big difference. Perhaps everything in the world was like this. There would always be flaws. It was impossible to be perfect. However, if Lin Feng mastered the Nirvana Phoenix of the Undying Phoenix, then Lin Feng's rebirth technique would be close to perfection. This was because he could rely on his bloodline to be reborn, and he could also rely on his spirit to be reborn. If Lin Feng's flesh and blood were destroyed by others, he could try to carry out the Nirvana Phoenix. If Lin Feng's soul was destroyed, he could try to use the power of his bloodline to be reborn. Although the 9 Emperors' clones each had their own uses. However, Lin Feng's favorite was actually the Immortal Phoenix's clone. Because the Immortal Phoenix's clone could allow Lin Feng to have a perfect rebirth technique. At the critical moment, this was a means to save his life. Of course, even if he mastered the rebirth technique, he could not rely on it. Because the probability of the rebirth technique allowing a person to be reborn was very low. Whether it was the Immortal Bloodline's rebirth technique or the Nirvana Phoenix, the probability of success was not particularly high. If he was killed by others, the probability of dying was much higher than the probability of being reborn. Perhaps he could only be reborn once after dying 100 times. Of course, as his cultivation level increased, His bloodline became more and more powerful, or his cultivation of the Nirvana Phoenix became deeper and deeper. At that time, the success rate might increase a little. Boom, boom, boom. All kinds of powerful magic treasures flew out, wanting to collect the immortal Phoenix's primordial spirit. This kind of Saint Emperor's primordial spirit was very precious. Even if those cultivators did not cultivate the 9 Emperor's clones, the Saint Emperor's primordial spirit could greatly increase the combat power of those cultivators. Therefore, a treasure like the Phoenix's primordial spirit was absolutely extraordinary. Anyone would go crazy for it. The Phoenix's primordial spirit's cultivation was extraordinary. Its wings flapped in the void and directly shuttled through the void, avoiding the magic treasures one by one. Whoosh! Lin Feng made his move. He wanted to take the initiative to attack. The Phoenix's primordial spirit belonged to him. No one could take it away. Lin Feng's speed was very fast. He quickly came in front of the Phoenix's primordial spirit and opened his big hand. Monstrous magic power surged out and suppressed the Phoenix's primordial spirit. Courting death, many cultivators revealed murderous intent and attacked Lin Feng. One had to know that the cultivators who came here were all very powerful. They were at least at the Saint Emperor level. There were even Sovereign Lord level experts. Their attacks were naturally extremely terrifying. Even Lin Feng did not dare to underestimate the attacks of those cultivators. However, Lin Feng did not avoid the attacks of those cultivators. He continued to suppress the Phoenix's primordial spirit. The Phoenix's primordial spirit naturally did not want to be suppressed by Lin Feng. Therefore, it flapped its wings and attacked Lin Feng. The wings of the Phoenix's primordial spirit directly swept towards Lin Feng. However, the attack of the Phoenix's primordial spirit was instantly broken by Lin Feng. After all, it was only a primordial spirit. Lin Feng attacked with all his strength. The Phoenix's primordial spirit could not withstand Lin Feng's attack. The powerful magic power that surged out of Lin Feng's body directly wrapped around the Phoenix's primordial spirit and suppressed it. Then, it was kept in the time-space by Lin Feng. Whoosh! Then, Lin Feng used the heaven patching technique and instantly disappeared from the spot. Chapter 3859. The Void Distorted. Lin Feng appeared 30 meters away. He met up with Emperor Juyin and the three-headed viper. Kid, hand over the Phoenix primordial spirit. A group of cultivators rushed over, their eyes flashing with coldness. There was no lack of Emperor-level experts among them, glaring at Lin Feng. The Phoenix primordial spirit made their hearts pound. However, now, the Phoenix primordial spirit had been taken by Lin Feng, and these cultivators were naturally unwilling to accept it. Therefore, they wanted to force Lin Feng to hand over the Phoenix primordial spirit. Scram! Lin Feng put his hands behind his back and looked at the group of people indifferently. Even the Emperor-level experts were scolded by Lin Feng. This was Lin Feng's confidence. He was fearless. Kid, what did you say? Kid, do you want to die? Impudent. Who do you think you are? How dare you be so disrespectful to us? Many cultivators' voices were cold as they looked at Lin Feng eerily. If you want to die, you can come over. I'll chop off your dog head. Then, I'll kick you out, Lin Feng said indifferently. He was extremely arrogant, as if he didn't care about these cultivators at all. Many of them looked gloomy and murderous. They wanted to attack. However, at this moment, Emperor Juyin and the three-headed viper emitted a terrifying aura. When the sage emperors felt the terrifying aura from Emperor Juyin and the three-headed viper, their expressions changed. Then, the sage emperors looked at the emperor-level experts. If the emperor-level experts didn't attack, they naturally wouldn't dare to. These emperor-level emperors didn't belong to the same faction. Lin Feng saw the emperor-level emperors of Sky Market Island, Devil Beast Mountain Range, and Purgatory Ancient Forest. It was very difficult for them to unite, so it was also very difficult for them to join forces to deal with Lin Feng. Moreover, the strength of Lin Feng's side was also very strong. The Monarch Realm experts looked gloomy and chose not to make a move. Instead, they turned around and walked into the depths of the palace. The Saint Emperors didn't do anything when they saw the Emperor Lords. One by one, they immediately quieted down. He also walked towards the depths. Lin Feng, Emperor Jian, and the three-headed viper didn't stop. They also walked into the palace. The area of the palace was very large, and there was a courtyard in the middle. The upper part of the courtyard was open air. The courtyard was surrounded by long corridors that connected to the palace. The architectural style of the palace was rather innovative. Lin Feng summoned the dragon rabbit. This kind of place was suitable for the little guy to display his skills. The dragon rabbit squeaked and ran quickly in front of him. Lin Feng and the other two followed closely behind Dragon Rabbit. The dragon rabbit stopped in front of a room, and Lin Feng pushed the door open. There was a huge cauldron in the room. Isn't this the purple dragon cauldron? When he saw the ancient cauldron, Lin Feng couldn't help but be very surprised. The purple dragon cauldron was a sacred cauldron for alchemy. Although its attack power wasn't strong, it could help with alchemy. Therefore, the purple dragon cauldron was very attractive to cultivators, because most cultivators knew alchemy. When Lin Feng first started cultivating, he also came into contact with alchemy, but a person's energy was limited. As time passed, Lin Feng gradually put aside his alchemy skills. Lin Feng mainly used his energy to study formations. Lin Feng had two cauldrons. The four ferocious cauldrons. It had powerful attack power. The primordial magic cauldron. This cauldron was very special and suitable to be a cage. To imprison some people, the primordial magic cauldron's lid and body were very close. Therefore, once imprisoned by the primordial magic cauldron, it was very difficult to escape. Of course, the four ferocious cauldron and the primordial magic cauldron could also be used as alchemy cauldrons, but they were clearly inferior to the purple dragon cauldron, which was more inclined towards alchemy. When the dragon rabbit saw the purple dragon cauldron, it jumped on top of it and started jumping around. Its little paw pointed at the purple dragon cauldron from time to time, squeaking non-stop, as if telling Lin Feng that there was a treasure inside and that Lin Feng should quickly collect it. There can't be an immortal pill in the purple dragon cauldron, right? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. He quickly walked towards the purple dragon cauldron. When the dragon rabbit saw Lin Feng walking over, it jumped onto Lin Feng's shoulder and stood there. Lin Feng opened the lid of the purple dragon cauldron. Crackle, crackle. After the lid of the purple dragon cauldron was opened, lightning immediately intertwined. Within the lightning, there was a purple seedling floating in the air. What is this? Lin Feng looked at the purple seedling and couldn't help but look puzzled. A purple sapling. It contained an extraordinary power. Moreover, Lin Feng discovered that the lightning was actually the power of lightning spat out by the purple sapling. Lin Feng frowned. He had never seen such a plant before. It was really strange. What kind of plant was this? Demon Lord, do you recognize this sapling? Lin Feng asked. Yao Jun, on the other hand, stared at the purple sapling shrouded in lightning and bewilderment. He couldn't help but frown and say, this purple sapling looks very much like the sapling of the grand firmament purple lightning bamboo. However, this kind of vegetation has already disappeared countless years ago. I didn't think that there would be such a plant here. Lin Feng asked, what's the use of this grand firmament purple lightning bamboo? The Demon Lord said, the grand firmament purple lightning bamboo is one of the 10 most young plants in the world. In addition, it is a lightning-attributed plant. Therefore, this plant is extremely lethal to spirits and ghosts. If it is forged into a supreme treasure, the power of this supreme treasure will be extremely terrifying. Since the lightning-attributed plant is the strongest offensive attribute, and the grand firmament purple lightning bamboo is a supreme treasure, you can imagine how rare a supreme treasure forged from the grand firmament purple lightning bamboo is. Moreover, supreme treasures forged from the grand firmament purple lightning bamboo are the best at restraining in spirits and ghosts. After hearing the Demon Lord's words, Lin Feng couldn't help but be slightly moved. Perhaps he could cultivate this sapling and use it to forge a powerful treasure in the future. Lin Feng felt that this method was feasible. Moreover, he really needed to collect more treasures that could restrain in spirits and ghosts. This way, he could deal with all kinds of spirits and ghosts. At this moment, a group of cultivators walked in. This group was actually from the Dragon Palace. Moreover, the leader was the Dragon Palace's 9th prince, Ao Shan. Ao Shun glanced at Lin Feng before looking at the grand firmament purple lightning bamboo sapling in the violet dragon cauldron. After seeing the sapling, Ao Shun smiled. Chapter 3860. As the ninth prince of the Dragon Palace, Ao Shun was an experienced and knowledgeable person. From his expression, he seemed to have recognized the origin of the grand firmament purple lightning bamboo sapling. The high sky purple lightning bamboo was a priceless treasure. Although he couldn't obtain the high sky purple lightning bamboo, even if he could obtain the grand firmament purple lightning bamboo sapling, he would still be able to obtain it. It was a great harvest. Lin Feng naturally felt the greed that Ao Shun had for the grand firmament purple lightning bamboo sapling. Lin Feng ignored the ninth prince and kept the grand firmament purple lightning bamboo sapling and the purple dragon cauldron into the space-time continuum. Kid, don't you think that we are enemies on a narrow road? Ao Shun looked at Lin Feng indifferently. That gaze was as if he was looking at an ant. In Ao Shun's eyes, Lin Feng was an ant. From the beginning, Ao Shun had never thought highly of Lin Feng. Enemies on a narrow road? Are you even worthy? Lin Feng curled his lips and said, if you know what's good for you, scram as far as you can. That way, you can still live. Otherwise, no one in this world can save your life. Hearing Lin Feng's words, Ao Shun was stunned. He quickly reacted and sneered, Kid, boasting. You must have the ability to boast. If you don't have the ability, how dare you say such words? Only death awaits you. Why are there so many stupid and ignorant people in this world? Help this young master get rid of these fellows. Lin Feng said impatiently. He had no interest in arguing with Ao Shun. Of course, Lin Feng also had no interest in fighting with Ao Shun and the others. He had the nine-eyed Emperor Lord and the three-headed Viper Emperor Lord by his side. There was no need for him, the master, to make a move. Yes, master. Emperor Jiyin and the three-headed Viper responded and rushed towards Ao Shun and the others. Now, the three-headed Viper's body had shrunk to a meter long. Its movements were extremely fast. Boom. A terrifying aura emanated from Emperor Jiyin and the three-headed Viper. After sensing the terrifying aura emanating from Emperor Jiyin and the three-headed Viper's bodies, Ao Shun's face instantly turned ugly. He was naturally able to sense the aura of an Emperor Lord. However, Emperor Jiyin and the three-headed Viper had just called Lin Feng their master. This caused Ao Shun to reveal an expression of disbelief. What kind of terrifying existence was an Emperor-level expert? Which force wasn't a high and mighty existence? Was there a need to address someone else as master? It was too unbelievable. Only at this moment did Ao Shun realize that the situation was troublesome. Let's not talk about Lin Feng's cultivation. Even the two Emperor-level experts by Lin Feng's side were not people they could contend against. This time around, there was also an expert from the Dragon Palace who had sealed himself in a stone that had come out and entered the Demon Emperor's secret realm. However, that expert wasn't here. Only if that expert was here would they be able to contend against the two Emperor-level experts in front of them. Although Ao Shun was arrogant, he was also an extremely intelligent person. He naturally knew that the most important thing right now was to quickly leave this place. Otherwise, it would be hard to escape this calamity. Stop these two for this crown prince, Ao Shun said in a deep voice. He ordered the others to stop the nine-eyed Emperor Lord and the three-headed Viper while he rushed outside. He wanted to escape without a trace. The rest of the cultivators could sense the terrifying aura emanating from Emperor Jiyin and the three-headed Viper. How could they still dare to contend against Emperor Jiyin and the three-headed Viper? Even if it was Ao Shun's order, it was useless at this moment. Many people tried to escape outside. However, it was already too late for them to escape. The terrifying aura of the two Emperor-level experts spread out and enveloped the group of cultivators. Bearing the terrifying aura of the Emperor-level experts, the group of cultivators felt as if their bodies were fixed in the void. They were simply unable to move. On the other hand, Ao Shun and Emperor Jiyin started a massacre. Puff, puff, puff. Ripping sounds could be heard one after another. One after another, the holy Emperor-level experts were killed. These holy emperors who were killed were all elite experts of the Dragon Palace. Even the Dragon Palace of the Azure Sea did not have many experts of this level. Therefore, every loss of such an expert was a great loss to the Dragon Palace of the Azure Sea. 7 or 8 Holy Emperor-level experts were all killed by Emperor Jian and the three-headed viper. The nine-eyed Emperor Lord quickly arrived in front of Ao Shan and sent a palm strike towards Ao Shan. How could Ao Shan be a match for Emperor Jian? Emperor Jian hit him so hard that he spat out blood. His face was as pale as paper. Emperor Jian grabbed Ao Shan's collar and lifted him up. Then he quickly came to Lin Feng. "Kneel down," Emperor Jian said coldly and kicked Ao Shan's leg. With a plop, Ao Shan knelt on the ground. "Spare me, young master. I have offended young master. I deserve to die. I only have hope. Young master, please spare my life for the sake of the Dragon Palace of the Azure Sea." Ao Shan begged Lin Feng for mercy. This was a 180-degree change from his arrogant attitude from before. Right now, Ao Shan had already abandoned his so-called dignity, his so-called personality, and so on. Ao Shan only wanted to live. Only to live. Only then would there be hope in life. If he died, it would really be over. Ao Shan did not want to die. He wanted to live. Ao Shan even thought that after he left alive, he would immediately look for the self-proclaimed expert of the Dragon Palace. That expert's strength was too terrifying. He was not someone an ordinary emperor could contend against. By then, when that expert attacked, wouldn't he be able to kill Lin Feng in any way he wanted to kill Lin Feng? Ao Shan's wishful thinking was quite good. However, his wishful thinking was destined to not come true. Lin Feng looked at Ao Shan indifferently and said, "I gave you a chance to live, but you didn't grasp it. Since that's the case, then only death awaits you." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng slapped Ao Shan's head and directly shattered his soul. Ao Shan died on the spot. The three-headed viper devoured Ao Shan and the other experts of the Dragon Palace. After devouring those people, the three-headed viper's strength could quickly increase. Lin Feng naturally hoped that the three-headed viper's cultivation could quickly increase. The stronger the three-headed viper was, the more help it could provide to Lin Feng. Lin Feng and the other two walked outside. At this moment, many cultivators had gathered at the entrance to watch the battle. The 9th prince of the Dragon Palace was killed just like that. This was not a small matter. However, no one dared to provoke Lin Feng and the other two. Lin Feng's two subordinates were too terrifying. They were actually Emperor Masters. They even brought 2 Emperor Masters with them when they came out to explore the secret realm. How terrifying was Lin Feng's identity? How could he be so generous? Chapter 3861. However, none of the people present knew Lin Feng. So, Lin Feng's identity was simply a mystery. Everyone watched Lin Feng and the other two leave. After they left, the cultivators suddenly burst into an uproar of discussion. Lin Feng, Emperor Jian, and the three-headed viper continued to walk inside. The few emperor lords who had arrived at this place had already arrived at the deepest room of this place. That room seemed to be the main hall of this huge palace. Above the door, black gas lingered. It was still a rune condensed by the black gas. It was a very strange rune. The several emperor lords' methods were very shocking. They worked together to break the rune. When Lin Feng and the other two arrived, the rune had just been broken. Rumble. The door was pushed open. Several emperor-level experts entered the palace. After that, the sage emperors also entered, and Lin Feng and the other two also entered the main hall. That is, just as he entered the main hall, Lin Feng saw a shocking scene. A cultivator was nailed to the wall by 5 arrows. 4 of the arrows pierced through the cultivator's limbs. The 5th arrow pierced through the cultivator's forehead. He didn't know how long this cultivator had been killed, but his wounds were still bleeding. Only the blood of some extremely powerful beings or ancient gods would not dry up even after countless years. The existence that had been shot to death might have been such a powerhouse. Look at those 5 arrows. They are all surrounded by a very mysterious golden rune, and that golden rune is very terrifying. Just by feeling the aura emitted by the golden rune, it actually made my heart tremble. A cultivator pointed at the 5 arrows and said, Those 5 arrows were indeed very extraordinary. Lin Feng felt that those 5 arrows might have a great origin. Otherwise, they would not be able to kill such an expert. The storage ring is still, someone continued, looking at the storage ring on the cultivator's finger. That storage ring was very special. There was a divine dragon coiled on it. Could it be the legendary coiling dragon ring? Someone said, thinking of a rumored supreme treasure. Rumor had it that the coiling dragon ring had refined a medium world. This was one of the largest spatial rings known to man. It was unrealistic to think that the coiling dragon ring was so famous only because of its large space. Other than the extremely large space inside the coiling dragon ring, it also had an extremely strong attack power. It was said, the dragon coiling on the coiling dragon ring was made from the bones of the holy dragon. In addition to that, it was said that the soul of the holy dragon was also fused into it. Therefore, the coiling dragon ring was a ring that could not only attack power but also had a large space. The attraction of such a ring was naturally unimaginable to cultivators. God knows how many years ago, he should not be a threat. A cultivator said as he walked towards the cultivator who was nailed to the wall by the 5 arrows. This cultivator knew that the Emperor Lord level experts were hesitant. Therefore, he was definitely going to make the first move. If he could really obtain a fortuitous encounter, then perhaps the fortuitous encounter he obtained would be able to protect him and leave this place. This kind of thing was not uncommon. It was also because of this reason that this cultivator dared to take the risk. Everyone else stood in place and watched the cultivator make his move. If that cultivator succeeded, then there would definitely be many people, including several Emperor-level experts, who would attack that cultivator. If that cultivator failed, everyone would be able to judge the danger level of approaching the corpse. Then, they would consider whether or not to take action. The cultivator was getting closer and closer to the corpse of the expert who had been killed. What surprised everyone was that he did not encounter any danger along the way. Not only did the 5 arrows pierce through the expert's body, but they also seemed to seal all of his aura. The cultivator's face lit up with joy. He sped up and soon arrived in front of the corpse. Then, he reached out to grab the coiling dragon ring. He wanted to remove the coiling dragon ring from the corpse's finger. Roar! But at this moment, a strange scene occurred. The coiling dragon ring actually let out a high-pitched dragon roar. Then, the divine dragon on the coiling dragon ring actually came to life. That divine dragon actually started to swim around the coiling dragon ring. It was extremely strange. A powerful devouring force surged out. That devouring force directly enveloped that cultivator. That cultivator's body actually began to rapidly shrink. Then, he flew toward the coiling dragon ring and was finally devoured by the divine dragon coiling on the ring. What a strange ring! As expected. Want to take such a treasure? It won't be easy. Many people couldn't help but take a deep breath. Taking the coiling dragon ring was very difficult. It required great strength to suppress the divine dragon coiling on the ring. Look, the coiling dragon ring has turned into a blood-red ring. Someone pointed at the coiling dragon ring and said. Everyone looked over and saw that the coiling dragon ring had indeed turned into a blood-red ring. It was truly too strange. Something's not right. The blood-red energy is flowing into the corpse. Lin Feng's expression turned grave. He felt that something was very wrong. Others might not have noticed it, but Lin Feng did. The blood-red energy was like a tonic that was being absorbed by the corpse. Wong. At this moment, a shocking wave of energy emanated from the corpse. Whoosh! Whoosh! Suddenly, the corpse opened its eyes. It was a pair of empty eyes. When Lin Feng looked into those eyes, he felt as if he had been pulled into a mysterious world. There was a flash of light. The scene changed. He realized that he had arrived at a palace. Within that palace, an endless amount of demonic chi was rumbling. A cultivator was covered in blood, and there were corpses all around him. Why did you destroy the Grand Orient bloodline? The cultivator roared. He charged toward the demonic chi, wanting to fight to the death with the existence within. The Grand Orient bloodline. You deserve to die. The being within the demonic chi said coldly. He took out a huge bow and arrow, then pulled the bowstring and shot. The arrow flew out and pierced through the cultivator's left wrist. The powerful force sent the cultivator flying. Chapter 3862. Puff, puff, puff. The being in the endless demonic aura shot out another 3 arrows. The 3 arrows nailed the cultivator's right arm and legs to the wall. Ah! The cultivator roared, his voice shaking the heavens. He tried to struggle, but he couldn't break free. There's no need to struggle. Your fate has long been sealed. The being in the endless demonic aura spoke in a cold voice. You ungrateful people. You won't have a good ending. He roared angrily, his heart filled with murderous intent, but he couldn't break free from the arrows nailed to his body. Anger and hatred ignited his chest. Puff. Another arrow shot out from the endless demonic aura. This arrow pierced through the cultivator's head. Is our clan going to be wiped out? He didn't die immediately. Instead, he murmured. His heart was filled with endless sorrow and hatred. Tears of blood flowed from his eyes. Finally, his aura gradually dissipated. His corpse gradually turned cold. Kik-kik. Sinister laughter rang out from the endless demonic aura. The laughter made one's hair stand on end. The endless demonic aura surged out. It instantly left. The scene in front of him quickly disappeared. Lin Feng reappeared in the Great Hall in the real world. I hate it. My clan. We've done so much for the myriad worlds. Why do you have to wipe us out? The terrifying being roared angrily after being resurrected. Of course, he might not have been resurrected. He might have just become a different kind of living being, a zombie demon, a corpse, or some other kind of spirit. No matter what he was, one thing was for sure. This being was definitely not human. He struggled even harder. The 5 arrows were no longer able to pin him down. If not for the Holy Bow, how could I have been defeated? The being roared angrily. Lin Feng was shocked. The being in the endless demonic aura had killed the being in front of him with the Holy Bow. The Holy Bow was a supreme treasure forged by Hou-Yi. This treasure was also known as the Sun-Shooting Divine Bow. In the past, not only had Hou-Yi forged the Holy Bow, he had also forged 10 Sun-Slaying Divine Arrows. Back then, Hou-Yi had used the Hou-Yi Bow and Sun-Slaying Divine Arrows to kill Di Jun's 9 sons. One of Di Jun's sons had escaped to the top of the Fusang tree. That was why he managed to escape the calamity. Could those 5 arrows be the legendary sun-shooting divine arrows? Rumor had it that the sun-slaying divine arrow itself was a top-notch immortal artifact. That was why he was able to kill Di Jun's son. If those 5 arrows were the shooting sun god arrows, then their value would be too great. Moreover, its power would definitely be unimaginably terrifying. Suddenly, Lin Feng thought of something. Back then, Hou-Yi was killed by the demon emperor, Di Jun. In other words, the Hou-Yi Bow. It should have fallen into the hands of Di Jun. Could it be that the cultivator who killed the existence in front of him was the demon sovereign, Di Jun? Thinking of this, Lin Feng couldn't help but gasp. Demon Emperor Tai Yi and Demon Sovereign Di Jun were brothers who had gone through life and death together. The two of them had supported each other since they were young. They had risen together. The two of them had gone through countless life and death situations together before they finally established the Heavenly Court. Moreover, they had been in charge of the Heavenly Court for so many years. It was only after Demon Emperor Tai Yi had disappeared that Di Jun was in charge of the Heavenly Court alone. If the existence in the endless demonic aura was the demon sovereign Di Jun, then it meant that the Eastern Emperor's bloodline hadn't disappeared for no reason. Demon Emperor Tai Yi hadn't disappeared for no reason. In fact, he had been persecuted by the demon sovereign Di Jun. Even the entire Eastern Emperor's bloodline had been annihilated because of this. If it was as he had guessed, then this was really a shocking secret. If the demon race knew about it, would they find Di Jun's grave and then dig out his corpse and whip it? Lin Feng felt that there might be such a possibility. Someone would definitely do that. Because if it was as Lin Feng had guessed, then the decline of the demon race was actually caused by the demon sovereign Di Jun. The demon sovereign Di Jun. He was the eternal sinner of the demon race. The mistakes he had made, as well as the crimes of massacring the demon emperor Tai Yi's bloodline, were too numerous to count. In fact, It could completely cover up his achievements in establishing the heavenly court with the demon emperor Tai Yi. However, Lin Feng felt that things weren't that simple. From the roar of this existence, Lin Feng felt that it was the demon emperor who had annihilated the Eastern Emperor's bloodline. It wasn't just the demon sovereign Di Jun's bloodline. There might be other forces involved as well. It was no wonder that this existence was filled with hatred. After the establishment of the heavenly court, the myriad worlds entered a relatively peaceful environment. In order to establish the heavenly court, the demon emperor Tai Yi and his people had sacrificed too much. However, their bloodline had been mercilessly wiped out. Anyone in their position would be filled with hatred. Is he the demon emperor Tai Yi? Lin Feng couldn't help muttering to himself. He didn't know if this existence in front of him was the demon emperor Tai Yi. He was too powerful. Lin Feng felt that he might really be the demon emperor Tai Yi. No. If he really is the demon emperor Tai Yi, even the Hui Bao wouldn't be able to hurt him. He's probably a direct descendant of the demon emperor Tai Yi. He might even be the demon emperor Tai Yi's son. The demon lord said. Lin Feng felt that this was possible. To be able to live in the palace of the demon emperor Tai Yi and to have such a powerful cultivation, perhaps this cultivator in front of him was the demon emperor Tai Yi's son, right? Ah, he was roaring. He struggled harder and harder. Finally, 5 arrows were forced out of his body. I hate it. I hate it. All of you will die. All of you will die. He was roaring, his killing intent soaring. The 5 arrows pierced through the bodies of the cultivators. Hurry up and run. Many people screamed in horror. They didn't have the courage to fight this terrifying existence. This existence was simply too powerful. His combat strength was heaven-defying. Choosing to fight him was simply courting death. The 5 arrows were too fast. They pierced through the void in an instant and arrived in front of the cultivators. Many of the cultivators' expressions changed. They hurriedly took out their magic treasures to block the arrows. However, something shocking happened. The power of the arrows was too terrifying. Any magical treasure would be like a piece of paper under the attack of those arrows. They were pierced through by the arrows. And then, the arrows pierced through the chests of the cultivators. The cultivators whose chests were pierced by the arrows died on the spot. Chapter 38:63. This existence was simply too powerful. His combat strength was simply heaven-defying. Especially, he could control 5 arrows at the same time to attack everyone. This was the ability to do 5 things at once. It was truly despairing. Puff, 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 puff. The sound of flesh being pierced rang out one after another. Cultivators were killed one after another. They could not withstand this terrifying existence's attack at all. The power of the 5 arrows was simply too great. Perhaps those 5 arrows were really the divine sunshot arrows? Lin Feng felt that even if the 5 arrows were not the divine sunshot arrows, they must be closely related to the divine sunshot arrows. Otherwise, how could they be so powerful? Get lost. Don't block the way. Lin Feng shouted in a deep voice. He swung his right fist at the cultivators in front of him. Bang, bang, bang. One cultivator after another was sent flying. He, the 3-headed viper, and Emperor Jian quickly rushed outside. The other emperor-level powerhouses did not dare to stay any longer. They also quickly rushed outside. This existence was too powerful. They could not fight against it. Only by leaving this place could they regain their safety. As for the other cultivators, they continued to die in the hands of this terrifying existence. Soon, the sage emperor-level cultivators were all killed. Only a few emperor-level powerhouses were left. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. More arrows were fired at them. One of the arrows locked onto Lin Feng. The power of that arrow was so terrifying that Lin Feng felt a sense of horror. Other than Lin Feng, the 3-headed viper, Emperor Jian, and 2 other emperor-level powerhouses were also locked onto by the arrows. As for the 3rd emperor-level powerhouse, he was even more unlucky. He was actually locked onto by the true body of that terrifying existence. That terrifying existence directly pounced on that emperor-level powerhouse. Its ferocious aura filled the sky. Facing the attack of the arrow, Lin Feng waved his hand. The Black Heaven Pagoda flew out. It formed a defensive light shield to protect itself. Puff. However, a tearing sound was heard. The arrow. It pierced through the defensive barrier created by the Black Heaven Pagoda. Clearly, just how terrifying was the power of that arrow. Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. He hurriedly summoned his ruler's armor to protect himself. At this moment, the arrow was already flying towards him. Clang! The arrow hit Lin Feng's chest. Suddenly, the sound of metal clashing rang out. Although the ruler's armor had blocked the attack of the arrow, the ruler's armor hadn't been able to block it. However, the arrow released a terrifying power. Dozens of bones in Lin Feng's body were broken. The attack power of the arrows was simply too strong. He was so powerful. It was so shocking. Clang! Lin Feng reached out with his right hand and grabbed the arrow. The arrow began to struggle violently. Meanwhile, the other 4 arrows pierced through the bodies of the other 4 monarch masters. The 3-headed viper's head was pierced, while Emperor Jian's chest was pierced. The heads of the other 2 monarch masters were pierced. The attack power of these arrows was too terrifying. There was no way to block it. However, the 4 monarch masters didn't die because of this. The 2 monarch masters whose heads were pierced didn't die. Although their injuries were extremely serious, they were lucky to survive. The Achilles heel of snake-type creatures was usually above the head, but the 3-headed viper was different. Perhaps because it was born with 3 heads, the 3-headed viper's neck was bifurcated. Therefore, the 3-headed viper's head was actually a little further back than other snake-type creatures. Therefore, the place where the arrow pierced wasn't the 3-headed viper's head. The 3-headed viper was lucky enough to avoid this disaster. As for Emperor Jian, although her chest was pierced, Emperor Jian was different from others. Many people's Achilles heel was either the soul or the heart. The soul was the foundation of a person. It was the birthplace of consciousness. The heart was the blood supply center and the source of power. Therefore, if the soul and heart were destroyed, the person would die. However, Emperor Jian's Achilles heel was her 9 eyes. Moreover, Emperor Jian had 9 hearts. Her 9 hearts didn't grow in her chest. Instead, they grew behind her 9 eyes. Therefore, it was rumored that the 9-eyed clan had 9 lives. To a certain extent, this rumor wasn't baseless. In order to completely kill this clan, all 9 eyes on their body had to be pierced. In fact, it was equivalent to destroying the 9 hearts behind the 9 eyes. The monarch master who was targeted by the terrifying existence was in a miserable state. One of his arms was directly torn off. Ah! That monarch master let out an incomparably shrill scream. The terrifying existence wanted to kill that monarch master in one go. At this moment, that monarch master's body actually burned and turned into ashes. That terrifying existence was also slightly taken aback. What was going on? Did he commit suicide because he knew he couldn't escape? In the next moment, that cultivator appeared at the door. Obviously, this was an extremely strange escape technique. That cultivator used this to escape. The 3-headed viper, Emperor Jian, and the other 4 monarch masters all fled outside. At this moment, Lin Feng was still grabbing that arrow. This was because the 5 arrows were too extraordinary and their power was heaven-defying. Lin Feng wanted to collect one of the arrows. One rune after another flew towards the arrow, suppressing the runes. With the suppression of the runes, the arrow's struggle became much weaker. In the end, Lin Feng sealed the arrow and kept it in the space-time space. He continued to flee outside. The 5 monarch masters had already escaped. Lin Feng was delayed for a while because he was sealing the arrow. However, he had already rushed to the door of the palace. He was about to rush out. However, at this moment, that terrifying existence chased after him. From behind, a palm struck towards Lin Feng. Reckless fool! You even dare to covet my things. You can go to hell. A sinister and terrifying voice came from behind, containing endless killing intent. The terrifying palm's power was simply unimaginable. It was so tyrannical that people couldn't help but be shocked. That palm made Lin Feng feel the threat of death. He couldn't resist at all. This was a dangerous moment. Lin Feng used the heaven patching technique. His body instantly disappeared. The terrifying existence's palm slammed into the air. In the next moment, Lin Feng appeared outside the palace. Chapter 3864. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel happy when he saw that the terrifying existence couldn't come out. Who set up the golden runes? Lin Feng couldn't help but wonder. The power contained in the golden runes was extremely powerful and shocking. Such power showed how extraordinary those runes were. The other party seemed to have set up these runes for a reason. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel suspicious. However, there were no clues about this. If he relied on his imagination, he naturally wouldn't be able to figure it out. So Lin Feng simply stopped thinking about it. Besides, Lin Feng had sealed an arrow. This time, he had gained a lot. Even though Lin Feng had the feeling that the arrow wasn't a godly shooting sun arrow, he needed to study it to be sure. Of course, even if it wasn't a godly shooting sun arrow, he still needed time to study it. The power of that arrow was also powerful enough. Lin Feng even felt that there was a secret behind it. As for what secret it was, Lin Feng needed to investigate it before he could find out. Dong, dong, dong. Right at this moment, bells rang out one after another. It was the sound of the Dongwang bell. When they heard the sound of the Dongwang bell, Lin Feng and the others were shocked. I wonder if Demon Emperor Tai Yi died here as well? Maybe his body is deep inside? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. Although the cultivators in this palace were powerful, they weren't Demon Emperor Tai Yi. Since these people dared to attack the Donghuang bloodline in the past, they must have thought of a way to deal with Demon Emperor Tai Yi. So, Lin Feng felt that, in the past, Demon Emperor Tai Yi was most likely dead. Dong, dong, dong. The sound of the Donghuang bell rang again. It sounded like a death knell. It was filled with sorrow. Let's go and take a look, Lin Feng said. He, the three-headed viper, and Emperor Jiyan rushed toward the sound. Almost everyone was rushing towards the depths of the forest. In the deepest part of the palace was a huge garden. The garden covered hundreds of acres of land. However, the garden was now lifeless and had lost all signs of life. In the depths of the garden, there was a mountain range lying in the middle of the garden. It was like a huge dragon resting on the ground. It was majestic and heavy. Buzz. At this moment, the Donghuang bell appeared above the mountain range. The Donghuang bell floated above the mountain range, constantly vibrating with the sound of a funeral bell. This was Lin Feng's first time seeing the Donghuang bell. Previously, he had seen some descriptions of the Donghuang bell. However, after all, those descriptions were not the real Donghuang bell. Therefore, the shock it brought was far from being comparable to the shock it brought now. The Donghuang bell was golden in color, and it was covered with runes. Furthermore, there were 99 golden dragons drawn on the Donghuang bell. Those divine dragons were so lifelike that they looked like real divine dragons lying on top of the Donghuang bell. This was the supreme treasure that Demon Emperor Tai Yi, one of the greatest existences in the history of the demon clan, had spent his entire life forging. The Donghuang bell is Demon Emperor Tai Yi's natal treasure. Now that the Donghuang bell has appeared here, could it be? Could Demon Emperor Tai Yi have fallen in the depths of the mountain range? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. It was indeed very likely. Lin Feng wasn't the only one who thought of this. Many cultivators seemed to have thought of this as well, and they all flew towards the depths of the mountain range. The Donghuang bell rang. The reverberating divine sound was filled with sorrow. Many people were affected by it, and they felt very depressed. The Donghuang bell seemed to be lamenting the annihilation of the Donghuang bloodline and sighing. Dong, 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 dong. The Donghuang bell rang again, this time with a deeper tone. Many people couldn't help but cry. They could feel the sorrow of the Donghuang bell. Oh my God, look, what is that? Someone exclaimed, then pointed towards the depths of the mountain range. Everyone looked towards the depths of the mountain range, and there was a huge pit there. In the deep pit, there were countless skeletons. Many of the skeletons were separated from each other. Are they from the Donghuang bloodline? Many people's voices trembled. It was a pit filled with tens of thousands of people. Countless skeletons were piled up here. Too many people had been killed here. One could only imagine how tragic it had been back then. So many people were buried here. It was truly heartless. The Donghuang bloodline was so powerful. Who was it that wiped them out? Someone asked, puzzled. They didn't know who had wiped out the Donghuang bloodline. How powerful was this bloodline back then? Naturally, there were very few people who knew the truth, and Lin Feng happened to be one of them. Why do you care so much? The most important thing now is to snatch the Donghuang bell, a cultivator said with a cold smile. They didn't care about how the Donghuang bloodline had died. They were only interested in the Donghuang bell. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. One by one, the Emperor-level experts flew towards the Eastern Emperor bell, wanting to snatch it away. Lin Feng even saw many familiar faces, such as Patriarch Black Tortoise, Great Dream Sovereign Lord, and others. Even Sovereign Lord White Eagle was there. Besides, Dragon Palace of the Azure Sea, Siren Tribe, 5 great ancient forests, Sky Ruin Island, and the top powerhouses among the wandering cultivators. There was even a group of powerhouses from the Sacred War Alliance. The Sacred War Alliance's West Ox State was adjacent to the Azure Sea. Therefore, the Sacred War Alliance was aware of what had happened in the Azure Sea realm. Therefore, Lin Feng wasn't surprised to see the powerhouses from the Sacred War Alliance. The Sacred War Alliance didn't seem to have any sovereign lords. However, the royal family of the Sacred War Alliance had a very strong foundation. This time, the Sacred War Alliance had sent out a strong foundation. Those terrifying powerhouses who had sealed themselves in the stone materials had come out. Just as these top powerhouses were flying towards the Donghuang bell, wanting to snatch it away. Suddenly, the space beside the Donghuang bell twisted, and in the next moment, a cultivator stepped out. It was a young cultivator who seemed to be very skilled in the Tao of space. Therefore, he traveled through space and arrived in front of the Donghuang bell. The young cultivator put away the Donghuang bell, and his lips curled into a proud smile. Everyone, it seems like the Donghuang bell is not fated with you. In that case, this Donghuang bell, I'll take it, the young cultivator said with a smile. He was in high spirits. You're courting death. You're courting death. The group of sovereign lords all had murderous looks in their eyes. Boom, boom, boom. Chapter 3865. However, the young cultivator remained calm in the face of the emperor's attacks. The space around him began to distort more and more. Lin Feng and the others even saw the space around him begin to fold. This was a powerful ability that could only be displayed when one's understanding of the Tao of space had reached an extremely deep level. When the divine abilities of the Emperor Lord level cultivators arrived in front of the young cultivator, the Emperor Lord level cultivators were stunned. Those divine abilities were all devoured by the folded space in front of the young cultivator. What a powerful technique! Lin Feng, who was watching the battle from afar, couldn't help but be shocked. Lin Feng's use of the Tao of space was also quite profound. However, compared to this young cultivator, he was still lacking by quite a bit. Lin Feng felt that the Tao of space he had mastered was somewhat similar to this young cultivator's Tao of space. Lin Feng couldn't help but wonder if this young cultivator had also mastered the Tao of space passed down by the space god. The 9 generations of the space god were of the same origin, but they were also different. If Lin Feng could obtain the empty space god's legacy, other people could also obtain the empty space god's legacy. This cultivator's cultivation was also not weak. He should be an extremely heaven-defying existence who could challenge those of a higher level. Of course, the real reason he dared to snatch the Donghuang bell in front of so many emperors was his understanding and use of the Tao of space. Who are you? An Emperor Realm expert looked coldly at the young cultivator and asked for his identity. My identity? Is it something you have the right to know? The young cultivator curled his lips and said arrogantly. He didn't take the emperors who asked him seriously at all. This guy is even more arrogant than me. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. There were indeed too many arrogant people in the world. However, arrogance required the strength to back it up. Otherwise, it would be a tragedy. As for the young cultivator, he was clearly very confident in his strength. Junior, how dare you? Die. The Emperor Lord, who was humiliated, couldn't help but roar angrily and send a palm strike towards the young cultivator. That Emperor Master was the #1 expert of the vast ocean realm's itinerant cultivator world. He was transformed from a deep-sea black whale. He was incomparably powerful. After he struck out with his palm, a huge energy palm that blotted out the sky condensed in the void. The energy palm grabbed at the young cultivator. However, when the energy palm flew to the young cultivator's side, the young cultivator was stunned. The energy palm was instantly devoured by the distorted space around the young cultivator. The distorted space seemed to be able to devour all attacks. Everyone felt that it was inconceivable because that young cultivator was simply too extraordinary. At such a young age, his usage of the space Tao had already reached such a profound level. It was truly inconceivable. This young master doesn't have the time to continue playing with you. That young man glanced at everyone with disdain. There were so many sovereign emperors, yet they were nothing in his eyes. So many emperor-level experts had become his targets of disdain. The group of sovereign emperors were naturally extremely angry. Everyone took out their powerful magic treasures and attacked that young cultivator. Now, that young cultivator had already aroused the anger of everyone. If they let him escape, then these sovereign emperors would definitely become a laughingstock. When the magic treasures shot towards the young cultivator was shocked. Something shocking happened. The space around that cultivator was folding more and more. Originally, the space around that cultivator had only folded 8 layers. However, now, the number of layers was increasing. Not long after, there were more than 40 to 50 layers. The most shocking thing was that even after so many layers had been folded, the space was still folding. Those folded spaces blocked the attacks of the expert's magic treasures. As for that young cultivator, his body was becoming more and more blurry. This guy's comprehension of the space Tao has already reached such a profound level. Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. He couldn't help but admire that young cultivator. That young cultivator seemed to only have a lifespan of 1,500 to 600 years. In the world of cultivators, that was naturally an extremely young age. However, his comprehension of the space Tao had already reached such an unfathomable level. This was a height that many people, even if they obtained the inheritance of the space god, couldn't reach in their entire lives. For that young man to be able to reach such a height was enough to show how strong his comprehension was. Everyone, I hope that the next time we meet, you won't be as weak as you are now. Before that young man's body disappeared, he didn't forget to mock those sovereign emperors who attacked him. Some of the sovereign emperors almost vomited blood. Really, that was too much. However, no matter how depressed they felt, these Emperor Lord level cultivators could only keep this depression in their hearts, because they really couldn't do anything to that young man. The Donghuang Bell is going to be taken by him. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. The Donghuang Bell was too precious. Naturally, Lin Feng also wanted to get the Donghuang Bell. However, from the looks of it, Lin Feng felt that he might just miss the opportunity to get the Donghuang Bell. If there were no accidents, the Donghuang Bell would probably be taken by that young cultivator. Just as that young cultivator was about to disappear completely, everyone saw that an ancient tree flew out from the void. Then, it smashed into the distorted space. That ancient tree was a treasure made of an unknown material. There were countless mysterious runes circling around it. It was obviously an extremely powerful treasure. Bang! The ancient tree smashed into the folded space. What happened next shocked everyone. When the ancient tree smashed into the folded space, everyone saw that the folded space had actually shattered. One had to know that the folded space was extremely terrifying. So many experts' Dharma treasures couldn't destroy the folded space. However, the ancient tree destroyed the folded space with just a light strike. It was truly unimaginable. The folded space shattered, and that cultivator's body returned to the real world. Die! The group of Emperor Realm experts all laughed sinisterly as they attacked the young cultivator with their powerful magic weapons. No! The young cultivator screamed in horror. He wanted to escape, but it was too late. When the magic treasures of the Emperor Lord level experts landed on the young cultivator's body, the young cultivator's body directly exploded. Chapter 3866. Damn, such a powerful cultivator, and he died just like that? Lin Feng was dumbfounded. He couldn't believe his eyes. That cultivator was someone who gathered the fortune of heaven and earth. Such a person was extremely rare, and such a person would usually have monstrous luck. It was very difficult to kill them. In addition, such people usually had some heaven-defying methods. Therefore, they often had unimaginable fortuitous encounters. They themselves might have risen to the top by cheating all the way. The ability displayed by this young cultivator fit all the characteristics. This person was even toying with a group of Emperor-level experts. Those Emperor-level experts were almost angered to death, but they couldn't do anything to that young cultivator. Such an ability was indeed heaven-defying. However, who would have thought that the end result would be like this? That young master died tragically in the end. It really made people sigh. Of course, it could also be said that that guy was too pretentious. It would be fine if he pretended to be pretentious, but that guy was endless, especially in front of a group of Emperor-level experts. It was fine if he pretended to be pretentious, took the treasure, and ran away. But he kept on showing off in front of a group of Emperor-level experts. That guy was killed by a group of Emperor-level experts. It seemed like he deserved it. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, a group of cultivators flew directly toward the storage ring left behind by that young cultivator. Just then, the Donghuang bell was kept in the storage ring by that young cultivator. That young cultivator was so extraordinary. He must be someone who had many fortuitous encounters. There must be many precious treasures in the storage ring. Therefore, everyone was very interested in that young cultivator's storage ring. They wanted to snatch that storage ring. However, at this moment, the storage ring suddenly shook the void. Then, a bang was heard. The storage ring was instantly destroyed. The Donghuang bell flew out from the storage ring. The Donghuang bell changed. The divine dragons on the Donghuang bell seemed to have awakened from their slumber. The divine dragons circled around the Donghuang bell and let out loud dragon roars. The dragon roars resounded through the clouds and shook the heavens. It was a very terrifying sound wave attack. The Emperor-level experts near the Donghuang bell couldn't help but turn pale. Retreat. Many people turned pale and quickly retreated. The Donghuang bell was too scary. It hurt their souls. At this moment, a strange sound came from the Eastern Emperor bell. If one listened carefully, one would realize that the sound was calling for the undead to awaken. The skeletons in the mass grave began to move. Every skeleton contained a power that could destroy the heavens and the earth. My God, those skeletons are coming back to life. Many people's faces turned pale with fright. The sight of the numerous skeletons coming back to life was simply too horrifying. I hate them. I really hate them. Why are the other races treating us like this? How many sacrifices have we, the Eastern Emperor, made for the common people of the world? How much effort? Why do they want to destroy the Donghuang? I can't accept this. I can't accept this. The people of the Donghuang bloodline have died too miserably. They deserve to die. Everyone deserves to die. All the traitors deserve to die. The skeletons let out angry roars, their hatred overflowing to the sky. However, no one could blame them. In the past, the Donghuang bloodline had done too many things for the heavens. However, the Donghuang bloodline was mercilessly wiped out. Emperor Jun's bloodline was naturally one of the leaders. However, it was clear that there were many other major forces involved in this matter. Logically speaking, these major forces shouldn't have taken the risk to destroy the Donghuang bloodline, right? Why did they want to destroy the Donghuang bloodline? The world was bustling with activity. Everyone was here for benefits. Lin Feng felt that there must be some benefits involved in this matter. That was why these major forces had gone crazy and destroyed the Donghuang bloodline. Let's go. We have to leave the Demon Emperor secret realm. Lin Feng looked at the three-headed viper and Emperor Jian. During this trip, Lin Feng's cultivation had improved greatly. He had also obtained the fiery divine tree, the violet dragon cauldron, the grand firmament purple lightning bamboo sapling, the mysterious arrow, and other treasures. This was enough for him. Lin Feng had always been a person who knew when to advance and when to retreat. He, the three-headed viper, and Emperor Jian quickly rushed out. Many people didn't dare to stay and quickly rushed out. The skeletons in the mass grave came back to life. The skeletons' roars shook the sky as they quickly chased after the crowd. A terrifying aura emanated from the skeleton's army, causing one's heart to tremble. I don't see Demon Emperor Tai's corpse. Could it be that Demon Emperor Tai's corpse has been destroyed? Or perhaps Demon Emperor Tai didn't die in the Donghuang city. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. However, it was destined that no one would be able to answer his doubts. The skeleton's army was extremely terrifying. Some of the cultivators were caught up by the skeletons. Those cultivators fought with the skeleton's army and were quickly killed by the skeleton's army. When they passed by the palace where the mysterious existence was imprisoned, a large number of skeletons rushed towards the palace. They wanted to destroy the palace and release the cultivator who was suspected to be Demon Emperor Tai's son. When Lin Feng and the others rushed out of the palace, they were immediately attacked by the undead army. The Lord of the Undead had brought the undead army in at some point. The densely packed undead army charged over, making it difficult for them to move. Many people were trapped. Lin Feng took out the 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram and led the 3-headed viper and Emperor Jiyan out of the encirclement. In the end, they rushed out of the Donghuang city. Lin Feng didn't leave immediately. He lingered in the distance to see if there was a chance to collect the Donghuang bell. Go find the Bai sisters. After finding the Bai sisters, you will bring them back to the dark ancient forest. Then, you will integrate the forces in the dark ancient forest and try your best to rope in more experts. Lin Feng looked at Emperor Jiyan and said. Now, Lin Feng already had the heart to fight for hegemony. Back then, the myriad races almost destroyed the 9 provinces. And now, Lin Feng planned to establish his own forces in the myriad races' lair and make the myriad races of the Sacred War Alliance unable to sleep or eat in peace. If there was a chance to encroach on the myriad races of the Sacred War Alliance, Lin Feng didn't mind encroaching on them. Yes, Master. Chapter 3867. Lin Feng and the 3-headed viper remained where they were, waiting. Lin Feng let the viper enter the temporal space for the time being. If he summoned the viper during the battle, he might be able to catch his opponent off guard. One after another, some cultivators escaped from the East Imperial Kingdom. Their cultivation bases were definitely extremely terrifying. Sage Emperors had a lower chance of escaping, while Emperor-level experts had a higher chance of escaping. Roar! A high-pitched dragon roar resounded through the clouds. Within the East Imperial Kingdom, endless golden light illuminated the world. Within the dazzling golden light, 99 divine dragons appeared. Around the necks of the 99 divine dragons was a chain condensed from golden light. 99 divine dragons pulled an ancient bell and flew out. A female cultivator was fleeing in front of them in a sorry state. That female cultivator was none other than the Great Dream Empress. This woman's means were extremely terrifying. Now, she was being chased by the 99 dragons dragging the East Imperial Bell. Lin Feng realized. The 99 dragons were actually the divine dragons branded on the East Imperial Bell. The 99 dragons dragged the East Imperial Bell across the sky and finally caught up to the Great Dream Empress. For some unknown reason, the Eastern Emperor Bell seemed to want to kill the Great Dream Emperor Lord. This woman was a powerful character with terrifying means. She wasn't someone ordinary Emperor-level cultivators could deal with. However, this woman had a hard time resisting the East Imperial Bell's attack. Now, the 99 divine dragons branded on the East Imperial Bell were resurrected. The 99 divine dragons were incomparably powerful and connected with the East Imperial Bell. All 99 divine dragons spewed out powerful dragon breaths at the Great Dream Empress. The Great Dream Empress summoned a Milky Way world to block the dragon breaths. However, the combined dragon breaths of the 99 divine dragons were so terrifying that they destroyed the Milky Way world. Then, the powerful dragon breaths bombarded the Great Dream Empress body. The Great Dream Empress was sent flying. Wah! Great Dream Emperor Lord spat out a mouthful of blood, his face as pale as paper. Lin Feng was shocked. The 99 mystical dragons were terrifying. Even a powerful existence like the Great Dream Monarch Lord was injured so severely. Could the Great Dream Monarch Lord have died under the attacks of the 99 mystical dragons? The 99 divine dragons let out a series of dragon roars and continued to spit out powerful dragon breaths to attack the Great Dream Monarch Lord. They wanted to kill him. At this moment, the Great Dream Emperor Lord's body turned into a rainbow butterfly. The rainbow butterfly tore open the void and quickly escaped into the void. Meanwhile, the attacks of the 99 divine dragons ultimately dissipated into thin air. Is that the Great Dream Emperor Lord's true body? A rainbow-colored butterfly? Lin Feng's face showed an extremely shocked expression. Previously, Lin Feng had also guessed what the Great Dream Emperor Lord's true body was. He had also heard of the Great Dream Emperor Lord's true body. However, Lin Feng now knew that the rumors outside were extremely inaccurate. The Great Dream Emperor Lord's true body was an extremely rare rainbow butterfly. It was Lin Feng's first time seeing such a rainbow butterfly. The 99 divine dragons did not chase after the Great Dream Emperor Lord. Endless golden light converged as the 99 divine dragons flew towards the Donghuang Bell. When they arrived beside the Donghuang Bell, the 99 divine dragons turned into 99 divine dragon runes and imprinted themselves on the Donghuang Bell. The Donghuang Bell then flew towards the Donghuang city. Swoosh! At this time, the void tore open and Lin Feng stepped out from the void. He appeared above the Donghuang Bell. With a flash of light, Lin Feng took out the heaven-devouring jar. A powerful devouring force surged out from the jar. The devouring force enveloped the Donghuang Bell. It wanted to collect the Donghuang Bell. Lin Feng's heaven-devouring jar could suppress many magic treasures and forcibly collect them. Now that Lin Feng had finally found an opportunity to collect the Donghuang Bell, he naturally would not let go of this golden opportunity. Of course, it was not an easy task to collect the Donghuang Bell. The Donghuang Bell shook the void. Waves of terrifying energy were released from the Donghuang Bell. The devouring force from the heaven-devouring jar was about to be dispersed by the Donghuang Bell. Seeing this, Lin Feng's face suddenly changed. If the devouring force from the heaven-devouring jar was dispersed by the Donghuang Bell, then it would be impossible to collect the Donghuang Bell. Suppress. Lin Feng raised his right hand, and the spiritual power on his palm intertwined to form the word suppress. The word suppress was imprinted on the Donghuang Bell. Lin Feng wanted to use the word suppress to suppress the Donghuang Bell. However, the Donghuang Bell was unwilling to be suppressed by Lin Feng. The 99 divine dragons circled around the Donghuang Bell and let out dragon roars. The 99 divine dragons seemed to want to soar into the sky and transform into giant dragons. Lin Feng finally knew why the Great Dream Emperor Lord was chased by the Donghuang Bell. The Great Dream Emperor Lord probably wanted to collect the Donghuang Bell but was counterattacked by the Donghuang Bell. Once the 99 divine dragons on the Donghuang Bell transformed into their divine dragon true forms, they were too powerful. Lin Feng had already seen how terrifying the 99 divine dragons were. Therefore, it was impossible for him to transform the 99 divine dragons into their divine dragon true forms. If that was the case, it would be troublesome. Lin Feng quickly performed the 8 seals of prohibition. He sealed the 99 divine dragons. Dense runes intertwined and wrapped around the Donghuang Bell. The 99 divine dragons struggled violently. Lin Feng was about to seal the 99 divine dragons in one go when a cultivator stepped out from the void. At that moment, a cultivator appeared in the sky. He was holding a gigantic tree and threw it at Lin Feng. The ancient tree was the one that had broken the folded space. The young cultivator who was proficient in the Tao of space had died tragically because of this person. Lin Feng was extremely shocked when he saw the cultivator who had suddenly appeared. This cultivator was none other than Huang Fu Qingtian. Lin Feng was surprised. He hadn't thought he would meet Huang Fu Qingtian there. Huang Fu Qingtian was Lin Feng's first great enemy. This person's means were heaven-defying and his combat strength was extremely terrifying. After coming back from the dead, Huang Fu Qingtian's luck was still very strong. Lin Feng threw a punch at the ancient tree that Huang Fu Qingtian was smashing at him. Bang! Chapter 38-68 This is a supreme treasure I got from the primitive secret realm. How is its power? Huangfu Qingtian looked at Lin Feng with a smile. The primitive secret realm was a secret realm left behind by the primeval Lord of Heaven, who was the incarnation of Pangu. Therefore, the later generations were used to calling the secret realm left behind by Pangu the Pangu secret realm. Huangfu Qingtian controlled the secret realm of ether, but he didn't enter the primitive secret realm. Pangu, the celestial master of Origin's most powerful inheritances, were in the Origin mysterious land. Lin Feng hoped he could go there and steal Huangfu Qingtian's treasures, but now it seemed like he wouldn't have that opportunity. What kind of material is this supreme treasure made of? Lin Feng squinted his eyes and looked at the ancient tree. It was so extraordinary and terrifying that even Lin Feng felt it was unbelievable. You can ask the king of hell. Huangfu Qingtian sneered. He stood in the void and waved the ancient tree. An invisible and intangible strength emerged from Lin Feng's body and exploded around him. The invisible power was so terrifying that it bombarded Lin Feng. Lin Feng was sent flying several times. What a powerful supreme treasure! Lin Feng took a deep breath and took out 3 stone swords. Under his control, the 3 stone swords quickly slashed at Huangfu Qingtian. It's useless. Huangfu Qingtian sneered and continued to wave the ancient tree in his hand. The ancient tree folded the surrounding space. When the space was folded, the folded space blocked the attack of the 3 stone swords. The ancient tree was really a strange magic treasure. It was Lin Feng's first time seeing a magic treasure with such powerful attack and defense. It made Lin Feng very envious. Lin Feng stepped forward in the void. He sneered at Huangfu Qingtian and said, Huangfu Qingtian, the current you. You're not the original you. You're just a soul body created from your past memories. Although your talent and luck are still very strong, the compatibility between your soul and body is far from what it used to be. I was able to kill you before. Do you think that you can challenge me with your current strength? How ridiculous. Huangfu Qingtian sneered and said, I've taken the spirit fusion pill, so my soul won't have any conflict with my body. So, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed this time. As for the matter of me being killed by you, do you have the nerve to bring it up? I should be the one who killed you. You plotted against me. You used despicable and shameless methods to turn defeat into victory, yet you still have the nerve to brag about it? That battle in the past. In the world of cultivators, only the results mattered, not the process. Lin Feng sneered and said, I destroyed your soul openly with a soul secret technique. That's the truth. How can you say I plotted against you? Cultivators need to cultivate their bodies, divine abilities, and many soul secret techniques. But you can't see through that. That's why you're doomed. No matter how many times you challenge me, you'll fail in the end. Lin Feng began to recite an incantation. In the great Tao of destiny, a dead person stole the heavenly will, went against the heavenly Tao, and stole life again. Today, I'll punish this person who should be dead. Lin Feng finished reciting the incantation. In an instant, a river of destiny appeared. The river of destiny shot toward Huangfu Qingtian. Lin Feng, you've gotten used to everything over the years. That's why you're so arrogant now. Today, I'll show you what I'm capable of. I'll trample you beneath my feet and let you know that you're nothing but a weak and pitiful worm in front of me. Huangfu Qingtian sneered. Then, an extremely terrifying aura emanated from his body. He activated the ancient tree with all his strength and smashed it toward the river of destiny. Bang! The river of destiny collided with the ancient tree in Huangfu Qingtian's hand, and something shocking happened. That ancient tree was actually able to block the attack of the river of fate. It was truly inconceivable. At that moment, the Donghuang bell shattered the seal that Lin Feng had placed on it. Then, the Donghuang bell rapidly grew in size, and soon, it was as big as a mountain. The Donghuang bell was truly unpredictable. Its power was heaven-defying. A powerful devouring force surged out of the enlarged Donghuang bell. The devouring force enveloped Lin Feng and Huangfu Qingtian. The powerful devouring force wanted to suck Lin Feng and Huangfu Qingtian into it. Lin Feng's expression changed drastically. He began to struggle, trying to break free from the devouring force of the Dongwang Bell. However, the devouring force of the Dongwang Bell was far beyond Lin Feng's imagination. He couldn't break free from it. Huang Fu Qingtian, on the other hand, waved the ancient tree and kept whipping away the devouring power that was surging over. However, the ancient tree couldn't break free from the devouring force. Lin Feng and Huang Fu Qingtian's bodies involuntarily flew toward the Donghuang Bell quickly. Damn it, we're in trouble. Lin Feng's expression suddenly darkened. He didn't know what would happen if he was devoured by the Donghuang Bell. Lin Feng knew that the situation was terrible, but he couldn't break free from the devouring force of the Donghuang Bell. In the end, Lin Feng and Huang Fu Qingtian were both devoured by the Donghuang Bell. However, Lin Feng didn't sense Huang Fu Qingtian's aura. He and Huang Fu Qingtian seemed to be separated by the Donghuang Bell. Lin Feng was trapped inside the Donghuang Bell. It was pitch black, and he couldn't see anything. However, Lin Feng was someone who had been through a lot. Even though he was trapped inside the Donghuang Bell, he still tried his best to stay calm. At this moment, a strange force spread out and wrapped around Lin Feng. Then, Lin Feng felt that the force began to pour into his body. The force was very strange. It was trying to dissolve Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng's expression darkened slightly. He knew that it was the refining force that was pouring out from the Donghuang Bell. The Donghuang Bell wanted to refine him. Lin Feng quickly operated the Archean Dragonesque Elephant skill. He wanted to dissolve the force that was pouring into his body. However, the Archean Dragonesque Elephant skill couldn't dissolve the strange force. To think that the power of refinement is so strange, Yi Futian murmured. Chapter 3869. When Lin Feng started to circulate his blood, he realized that he couldn't rely on the strength of his blood to suppress the strange strength in his body. This made Lin Feng frown. If even his bloodline power was unable to suppress this strange energy, it would be troublesome. Bloodline power was something that Lin Feng relied heavily on. This strange energy made Lin Feng feel that it was very troublesome. But now, Lin Feng was facing a problem. Since his bloodline power was unable to resolve this strange energy, he needed to find a new way to resolve it. Lin Feng thought of the heavenly fire. The power of the 5 heavenly fire was extremely terrifying. Would it be able to refine this strange energy within his body? Lin Feng began to activate the 5 heavenly fire. Soon, the 5 heavenly fire were activated by Lin Feng. Lin Feng's body was filled with the power of the heavenly fire. The 5 heavenly fire engulfed his body and enveloped the strange energy. The heavenly fire was indeed worthy of its name. When the heavenly fire in Lin Feng's body enveloped the strange energy that Lin Feng was unable to refine before started to burn. Not long after, the strange energy that had invaded Lin Feng's body was burned to ashes by the heavenly fire. Lin Feng could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Then, he took out a luminous pearl. The luminous pearl illuminated the surroundings. Lin Feng saw that he was surrounded by golden rock walls. He was trapped in an independent space. It was like a golden secret chamber. How can I break the Donghuang Bell? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He wanted to break the Donghuang Bell and get out. Lin Feng stood up and came to a rock wall. He activated the 6-fold Dracophant arm. Lin Feng punched one of the walls of the cave. Bang, 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 bang. He threw out punch after punch. Every punch was powerful and heavy. Its power was astonishing. 36 consecutive punches landed on the rock wall, but he was unable to break it open. There wasn't even a single crack on the wall. It's too hard. It couldn't be broken. I wonder if I can blast open this wall with a magic treasure? Lin Feng could not help but mutter to himself. He took out his Dharma treasure. They began to bombard the rock wall. Bang, bang, bang. After Lin Feng brought out more than a dozen magical weapons, they continuously bombarded the rock wall. However, the magical weapons were unable to break the rock wall. The rock walls were simply too sturdy. He didn't know what material it was made of. Lin Feng put away his Dharma treasure. He felt that if he wanted to get out, he needed to be smart and not rely on brute force. Lin Feng carefully examined the rock walls. These rock walls were densely covered with runes. Lin Feng discovered that some of the runes were twisting and turning. They were connected together like a huge dragon. A dragon tattoo? Lin Feng frowned. He continued to look for similar runes. Soon, Lin Feng found a second similar dragon tattoo. However, it was slightly different from the first one. The structure of the second dragon tattoo was slightly more complicated than the first one. Lin Feng began to look for these runes on the rock wall. In the end, Lin Feng found 99 of these runes. This made Lin Feng think of the 99 divine dragon portraits imprinted on the Dongwang bell. Those divine dragons could transform into real divine dragons and were extremely powerful. He wondered if these divine dragon tattoos were related to the 99 divine dragon portraits. Lin Feng decided to comprehend them first before doing anything. He sat cross-legged and carefully sensed the 99 dragon tattoos. However, the 99 dragon tattoos rejected Lin Feng violently. Therefore, he was unable to communicate with the 99 dragon tattoos. This made Lin Feng rather depressed. Lin Feng suddenly thought of the ancestral dragon fist that he cultivated. No matter what, it was still an ultimate technique passed down by the ancestral dragon. Lin Feng began to circulate the ancestral dragon fist and formed a great formation in his dantian. After the great deployment spell formed by the ancestor dragon fist was activated, Lin Feng immediately sensed that the 99 dragon marks, which had been repelling him, didn't repel him anymore. On the contrary, they felt close to him. This made Lin Feng happy. It seemed that the ancestral dragon fist had worked. Roar! Lin Feng heard a dragon's roar. Then, he felt that he had arrived in a mysterious world. In this world, huge golden divine dragons were flying in the sky. There were a total of 99 golden divine dragons. The 99 golden divine dragons circled around Lin Feng. The golden divine dragons suddenly turned into dragon tattoos. Then, they quickly flew towards Lin Feng and disappeared into Lin Feng's mind. The dragon tattoos formed a chant in Lin Feng's mind. Lin Feng's divine consciousness invaded the chant. 99 dragons pulling the ancient bell. Lin Feng saw the name of the chant. This was a great ability that was imprinted inside the Dongwang bell. Lin Feng began to cultivate this great ability according to the cultivation method of the great ability. No one knew how much time had passed. Lin Feng finally cultivated this powerful great ability. He began to circulate this great ability. Suddenly, the roar of a dragon resounded through the sky. Divine dragons appeared one after another. Lin Feng actually condensed a total of 99 divine dragons. The 99 divine dragons circled around Lin Feng. They roared continuously. Lin Feng looked at the 99 divine dragons and couldn't help but feel happy. He had finally summoned 99 divine dragons. However, wasn't this great ability called the 99 dragons pulling the ancient bell? What about the ancient bell? Could it be that this place was too small and couldn't be used, so the ancient bell simply didn't appear? Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a little apprehensive. He didn't know what was going on. Through the 99 divine dragons that he condensed, Lin Feng discovered that he seemed to be able to form a mysterious connection with the 99 divine dragons imprinted on the Dongwang bell. Could it be that I can rely on the connection with the 99 divine dragons to escape? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He continued to try to connect with the 99 divine dragons. The 99 divine dragons circling around Lin Feng instantly merged into the surrounding rock walls. Then, Lin Feng felt a powerful force wrap around his body. In the next moment, with a flash of light, Lin Feng was thrown out by the powerful force. When Lin Feng came out, he found himself in a huge hall. The Dongwang bell was floating not far away. I'm finally out. Lin Feng couldn't help but let out a long breath. However, in the next moment, Lin Feng's face completely froze. Because he realized, the Dongwang bell wasn't the only thing in this hall. Chapter 3870. Upon seeing the terrifying existences in the hall, Lin Feng's expression turned uglier than crying. He had actually come to the meeting place of these terrifying existences. If he had known this would happen, he would have hidden in the Dongwang bell. At least, he wouldn't have had to face these terrifying existences. Lin Feng wanted to cry but had no tears. Sorry. Sorry for disturbing everyone. Just pretend that I'm not here. You can continue with the meeting, Lin Feng said embarrassedly before slipping out. However, now, Lin Feng couldn't leave just because he wanted to. Someone blocked Lin Feng's path. The Lord of the Undead looked at Lin Feng indifferently and said, I didn't expect you to appear here. Do you know what will happen to you? Lin Feng said, Look at what you're saying. Aren't we old friends? Don't old friends usually drink, chat, and reminisce when they meet? After drinking and chatting, they go back to their own homes. When the Lord of the Undead heard Lin Feng's words, Bufan rolled his eyes. He glared at Lin Feng and said, Who's your old friend? I just want to kill you. I think it's better for me to eat this brat. At this moment, the terrifying woman with a rotten body said. She stood up and stared at Lin Feng with her evil eyes. She was staring at Lin Feng with her evil eyes. Those eyes were definitely a pair of heart-palpitating eyes. They were even scarier than the eyes of a malicious spirit. Lin Feng said, Can I trouble you to become prettier? You're very scary right now. It's fine if you scare others, but it's not good if you scare the plants. You are courting death, the woman screamed in anger. Although she was extremely ugly, she loved to ask others if she was beautiful. Now, Lin Feng was mocking her for being ugly. Naturally, the woman couldn't accept it. She was filled with murderous intent toward Lin Feng. She wanted nothing more than to tear Lin Feng apart. Whoosh! The woman attacked Lin Feng. Her sharp claws flickered with a terrifying cold light as she clawed at Lin Feng. That claw was about to touch Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng summoned the 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram. Women were classified as corpses and were perfectly countered by Lin Feng's 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram. Dazzling divine light shot out from the 3 pristine 8 trigrams diagram and blasted toward the woman. Bang! Along with the violent sound of collision, the divine light from the 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram collided with the woman, producing a muffled sound of collision. The woman was sent flying. Lin Feng knew how terrifying this woman was. Back then, so many Emperor Lord-level powerhouses were no match for her. From this, one could see how terrifying this woman was. However, all things in the world had a counter to each other, and she just had to be restrained by Lin Feng's 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram. Just like how the Lord of the Undead was also restrained by Lin Feng's 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram. Therefore, he couldn't get close to Lin Feng at all. 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram. This thing actually fell into your hands. The woman glanced at the 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram and then looked at the Lord of the Undead. She seemed to know that the 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram should belong to the Lord of the Undead. This boy's methods are a little strange. He took the 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram. The Lord of the Undead said with a gloomy expression. He wasn't embarrassed to say anything. More people attack him. He's dead for sure. The woman said as she looked at Lin Feng eerily. There were many powerhouses here. In the woman's opinion, Lin Feng naturally couldn't escape. Even if he could borrow the power of the 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram, Lin Feng couldn't escape. Where are my arrows? The son of Donghuang stood up and looked at Lin Feng indifferently. Previously, Lin Feng had taken an arrow, although that arrow was one of the magic treasures that nailed the son of Donghuang to death. But now, the 5 arrows had become the son of Donghuang's magic treasures. Lin Feng took an arrow. The son of Donghuang naturally had a deep impression of Lin Feng. Many people were surprised. They didn't expect that even the son of Donghuang would have a treasure taken away by Lin Feng. This was truly inconceivable. Sold, Lin Feng said. He naturally didn't tell the truth, because the arrow was in Lin Feng's time and space. Lin Feng was just playing with the son of Donghuang. Anyway, the current situation was extremely bad for him. Since it was already so bad, Lin Feng naturally wouldn't beg for mercy. Even if he did, these people wouldn't let him go. Lin Feng was very clear about this. So in Lin Feng's opinion, playing with these people before he died was quite interesting. Of course, there might be a chance for things to turn around. He might not necessarily die in the hands of these people. You're courting death. The son of Donghuang was filled with killing intent as he attacked Lin Feng with his palm. The ugly woman, the Lord of the Undead, and some terrifying corpses and undead all stood up and surrounded Lin Feng. These powerful existences attacked together to suppress the 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram. The 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram couldn't block their attacks. Lin Feng knew that the situation was very bad. In this dangerous time and space, he took out the holy monk skeleton. After the skeleton appeared, the holy light surged and rushed out in all directions. Bang, bang, bang. Sounds of violent collisions could be heard. The terrifying light emitted from the holy monk's skeleton repelled the terrifying existences. The holy monk skeleton had a great origin. The Lord of the Undead seemed to have recognized the holy monk's skeleton and showed an extremely fearful expression. It's his skeleton. The ugly woman frowned. The ugly woman frowned. She actually recognized this skeleton as well. That's right. The Lord of the Undead nodded. This kid is extraordinary. The son of Donghuang sneered. The son of Donghuang sneered. Lin Feng said, as the saying goes, no discord, no concord. Why don't we become friends? The terrifying existences looked at Lin Feng with ridicule. One of the undead creatures said, ask the Eastern Emperor Bell to make a move. If the Donghuang Bell makes a move, it can definitely kill this kid. Hearing that, Lin Feng's face turned green. The Donghuang Bell's power was too heaven-defying. It had never made a move before. If the Donghuang Bell made a move, for Lin Feng, it could be a disaster. Lin Feng knew this very well. That was why Lin Feng's expression was extremely serious. All right, then let's ask the Donghuang Bell to make a move, the son of Donghuang said. At this moment, a woman walked into the palace. When he saw the woman, Lin Feng's eyes lit up. This woman. Chapter 3871. In the past, Lin Feng was the Red World Fairy's love tribulation. Although the Red World Fairy used an ingenious method to resolve the love tribulation, she had nothing to do with Lin Feng anymore. However, how could some things, especially karma and marriage, be so easily severed? The Master of Fate, Lin Feng and the Red World Fairy had been entangled for a long time. Perhaps, even the Red World Fairy herself was not very clear. Even if the Red World Fairy's understanding of fate and karma was incomparable to that of ordinary people. But as the saying goes, those involved could not see clearly. Those on the sidelines could see clearly. That was the principle. Who are you? The group of terrifying existences who wanted to ask the Donghuang Bell to deal with Lin Feng stopped. They looked at the Red World Fairy, the uninvited guest. Someone asked in a deep voice. They wanted to know the identity of the Red World Fairy. The Red World Fairy did not answer the other party's question. Instead, she said, I'm here to take something. Take something? Who do you think you are? You actually came to us to take something? Go to hell. The ugly woman screamed. She was jealous of the Red World Fairy. She was incomparably jealous of the Red World Fairy's beauty, because she was too ugly. Therefore, she was jealous of all women who were more beautiful than her. When she saw the Red World Fairy, she wanted to destroy the Red World Fairy. Therefore, she did not hesitate to make a move. Her sharp claws were like the sharpest weapons, as if they could tear through everything. The void was instantly pierced through. This woman's cultivation was unimaginable. It was so terrifying that it made people tremble. God said, light will dominate the world, and darkness will fall into the cycle of reincarnation. The Red World Fairy said with an indifferent expression. Which God said that? The ugly woman sneered. Her sharp claws were about to grab the Red World Fairy's neck. I said it myself. Venerable Red Dust said with an indifferent expression. After hearing the Red World Fairy's last sentence, Yizichin nodded. Lin Feng almost spat out a mouthful of blood. The Red World Fairy was truly a sentimental person. The corner of the ugly woman's mouth twitched violently. Immediately after, his gaze turned cold, and his killing intent was awe-inspiring. She even felt that her claws had already touched the Red World Fairy's skin. She became excited because she felt that the Red World Fairy was about to be killed by her. But at this moment, a large amount of golden holy light gushed out from the Red World Fairy's body. The golden holy light shone on the ugly woman's body. Chi. The ugly woman's body actually started to burn. This was an extremely terrifying scene. A foul smell was emitted from the ugly woman's body. It was nauseating. The ugly woman had no choice but to retreat quickly. There was no way he could get close to the Red World Fairy. Pure young immortal blood. What a powerful bloodline. The son of Donghuang showed an extremely shocked expression. Lin Feng's heart couldn't help but tremble slightly. The pure young immortal blood should be a special bloodline. It should be the bloodline of the Red World Fairy. But an existence like the Red World Fairy should have more than one bloodline. At the very least, she should have a twin bloodline. She could even reach the level of 4 symbols bloodline like him. Of course, this was only Lin Feng's deduction. Lin Feng didn't know the specifics. After all, everything about the Red World Fairy was still very unfamiliar to Lin Feng. I'm here to take something. Don't stop me, the Red World Fairy said coldly. All these years, the Red World Fairy seemed to have been looking for something special. Therefore, she went to many places and appeared in many worlds. Lin Feng remembered that the Red World Fairy even wanted to enter the underworld. He just didn't know if her trip to the underworld was smooth. Back then, Lin Feng had only entered the first layer of the underworld. But the underworld was not just one layer of heaven. The lower one went, the more terrifying it was. He didn't know which layer of the underworld the Red World Fairy went to. Lin Feng felt that what the Red World Fairy was looking for might be related to the 5 decays of heaven and man, the war of extinction, and the collapse of the era. She should be preparing for some upcoming crisis in advance. Then you've come to the wrong place. There's no return here. The Lord of the Undead sneered. Another powerful incorpse said, the pure young immortal blood is a good thing for us. We only need to drink her blood, and we can transform from incorpses to real cultivators. When the time comes, we will derive new flesh and blood to replace this stinking corpse. All the terrifying existences stood up and surrounded Lin Feng and the Red World Fairy. Now, their target had turned to the Red World Fairy. Then let's kill her together. The son of the Eastern Emperor said. The Red World Fairy's pure young immortal body was the greatest restraint against these incorpses. Although these incorpses were powerful, they wouldn't dare to approach the Red World Fairy in normal times. But now, they had the advantage in numbers. After joining forces, their magic power was connected, which was where their confidence came from. Waves of terrifying aura spread out. These powerful incorpses began to circulate their magic power and display their supreme skills. All kinds of terrifying magic power blasted toward the Red World Fairy. When those magic powers gathered together, they were too powerful and made people despair. At this time, an illusory world appeared behind the Red World Fairy's body. I come from hell. All spirits bow down. Honored immortal Hong Chen's voice was faintly discernible. A mysterious existence appeared in the illusory world behind him. It could be vaguely seen that the mysterious existence was a woman. That woman wore an imperial robe and a crown on her head. She looked like the ancient human emperor of the human race. I am the human emperor, and I will enlighten the people, the empress said. When her voice fell, endless golden light surged out from her body. The golden light instantly dissolved the attacks of a group of powerful existences. Then, the golden light swept across the group of powerful existences. The group of powerful existences was sent flying. Slash. The Empress attacked, slashing out rays of cold golden light. She wanted to kill the group of terrifying existences. The group of terrifying existences wanted to struggle, but they were suppressed in an instant. They couldn't break free at all. They could only watch helplessly as the golden beams of light slashed towards them. Lord Eastern Emperor Bell, save us. The group of people hurriedly begged for mercy. At this time, the Eastern Emperor Bell, which had been motionless, suddenly emitted a terrifying aura. The Eastern Emperor Bell gently shook the void. Suddenly, the attack of the Empress was broken by the Eastern Emperor Bell. A cold voice came from the Eastern Emperor Bell. You're here to ask for that thing? But you've come too early. You're simply courting death by coming here. Chapter 3872. Lin Feng squinted his eyes as he looked at the Donghuang bell that had suddenly enlarged. The existence that had just spoken should be the deity of the Donghuang bell. However, the deity of the Donghuang bell had clearly not awakened when it first appeared. Even when Lin Feng planned to collect the Donghuang bell, the deity of the Donghuang Bell had not awakened. Because if the deity of the Donghuang Bell had awakened, with Lin Feng's ability, it was impossible for him not to sense it. Therefore, Lin Feng was certain that the deity of the Donghuang Bell had not awakened. A supreme treasure like the Donghuang Bell could only be refined before the deity had awakened. Even if the deity had awakened, the deity would have seen that what was done could not be undone. Even if he had any objections, there was nothing he could do. Once the deity had awakened, there was no way to refine such a supreme treasure. The deity was simply too powerful, enough to destroy everything. Moreover, the deity could control the Donghuang Bell. The Donghuang Bell could release a terrifying attack at any time. Donghuang Bell, I'll let you have a taste of the supreme technique of the human race, the human Emperor Fist. Suddenly, Venerable Hong Qin's voice became faintly discernible, as if it was coming from a place beyond the endless space-time. The shadow of the Empress behind the Red World Fairy actually merged with the Red World Fairy. At that moment, Lin Feng felt that the Red World Fairy seemed to have transformed into the Empress. He even had a feeling that the mysterious Empress was immortal Venerable Hong Qin. This was an extremely strange feeling, but this feeling was so strong. The Red World Fairy was the Empress, and the Empress was the Red World Fairy. Lin Feng did not know why he had such a feeling in his heart, but he could not get rid of it. Human Emperor Fist. The Red World Fairy's voice resounded in the hall. Endless holy light surged, and the Red World Fairy seemed to have turned into an immortal human emperor. She threw a punch at the Donghuang Bell that was descending from the sky. Dong! An earth-shattering sound suddenly rang out. That voice was so loud that even the apathetic could hear it. The void seemed to be on the verge of shattering. Not only was the Donghuang Bell unable to harm the Red World Fairy, but it was also repelled by the Red World Fairy. That's impossible. The group of horrifying creatures had a look of disbelief on their faces. They knew how terrifying the Eastern Emperor Bell was. But now, someone had actually shaken the Donghuang Bell. It was unbelievable. It was like a legend. However, all of this had happened before their eyes, so they had no choice but to believe it. The Red World Fairy stepped forward and threw a punch at the Donghuang Bell. Roar! At this moment, a dragon's roar resounded throughout the world. The 99 divine dragons on the Donghuang Bell awakened and started to swim around the bell. When the divine dragons were revived, the power of the Donghuang Bell also increased significantly. There seemed to be a mysterious connection between those mystical dragons and the Donghuang Bell. It could increase the power of the Donghuang Bell. Bang! The Red World Fairy's fist once again landed on the Donghuang Bell. It was a pink fist with fair skin. Immortal Venerable Hong Qin had always had the appearance of a 16 or 17-year-old girl. But who would have thought that she would be so powerful? The Donghuang Bell was once again shaken by the Red World Fairy. The Red World Fairy seemed to have truly transformed into the Empress of the human race. She had mastered the Supreme Tao. She was invincible. Bang, bang, bang. The Red World Fairy's attacks were relentless. Punch after punch landed on the Donghuang Bell. The Red World Fairy continuously threw out 36 punches. The Donghuang Bell could no longer withstand it. It kept shrinking, and its aura was about to dissipate. Hand it over. This is the last time I'm warning you. The Red World Fairy said coldly. She was extremely domineering. However, she had the strength to make him so domineering. All right, I can give it to you, the Donghuang Bell said. The Donghuang Bell said. It chose to submit. It had no choice but to submit. The Red World Fairy was a decisive person. Naturally, she would keep her word. If he dared to go against the Red World Fairy, he would definitely suffer the wrath of the Red World Fairy. When the time came, only death awaited him. Shwa! A ball of light flew out. It was unknown what was wrapped in that ball of light. That ball of light flew toward the Red World Fairy and was collected by the Red World Fairy. At least you know your place, the Red World Fairy said. She turned around and walked outside. Lin Feng hastily followed him. Kid, you want to leave too? Are you dreaming? Some corpses blocked Lin Feng's path. They could not afford to offend the Red World Fairy, but they did not want to let Lin Feng go. Are your eyes blind? This fairy is an old friend of mine, Lin Feng said fiercely. He had almost said the word person. Fortunately, He stopped in time and changed the last two words to friend. Otherwise, who knew if he would be beaten to death by the Red World Fairy? The corpse blocking Lin Feng's way had an unsightly expression. He did not dare to continue blocking Lin Feng and quickly retreated. Lin Feng followed the Red World Fairy and left. They were still in East Imperial City. Back then, the East Imperial Bell had returned to East Imperial City after devouring Lin Feng and Huangfu Qingtian. This time, Lin Feng and the Red World Fairy left East Imperial City together. "Where do you plan to go, Venerable Immortal?" Lin Feng asked. The Red World Fairy looked at Lin Feng and said, "Hell." Lin Feng raised his eyebrows and said, "Venerable Immortal, what are you looking for in the Netherworld?" The Red World Fairy said expressionlessly, "You seem to be asking too many questions." She could not help but frown slightly. She had a feeling that the current Lin Feng was different from the Lin Feng she knew in the past. In her impression, Lin Feng did not dare to casually ask questions in front of her. However, this time, Lin Feng asked one question after another. Lin Feng said, "Can I show some concern for Venerable Immortal?" The Red World Fairy was slightly taken aback and said, "No need." Then, she tore through the void and left. "Little girl, you will be conquered by me sooner or later. At that time, I will make you sing conquered in front of me every day." Lin Feng could not help but fantasize in his heart. Lin Feng did not continue to stay here. He quickly left the ancient battlefield and went to the outside world. He summoned the three-headed viper. The three-headed viper carried Lin Feng and quickly flew toward Divine Crow Island. Back then, Lin Feng and Nangong Xiner had agreed to meet at Divine Crow Island. 3 days later, waves were rolling on the sea. Huge waves that were tens of thousands of feet high rose into the sky. Amidst the huge waves, there were densely packed oceanic species creatures. These oceanic creatures surrounded Lin Feng and the three-headed viper. Whoosh! A divine stone that emitted a terrifying aura flew over. Chapter 3873. This was a powerful cultivator from the Palace of the Ocean Dragons. Lin Feng had seen this powerful cultivator sealed in the divine stone before. He came from the Palace of the Ocean Dragons. His status seemed to be extraordinary, and his combat ability was unusually strong. So many cultivators from the Palace of the Ocean Dragons had surrounded him. Obviously, it was because of Ao Shan. Ao Shan was killed by him. It was impossible to hide this from the Palace of the Ocean Dragons. Ao Shan might not be important, but the dignity of the Palace of the Ocean Dragons was extremely important. As one of the overlords of the vast sea world, the Palace of the Ocean Dragons had to do something when the 9th Prince of the Dragon Palace was killed. If the Palace of the Ocean Dragons didn't respond, it would be a huge blow to their reputation. "Brat, did you kill Ao Shan?" A cold voice came from the divine stone. "That's right. It was me. That guy didn't have eyes. He was asking for death in front of me. So, I took care of that guy. The Palace of the Ocean Dragons should thank me. If I didn't kill that trash, Ao Shan, with his arrogant personality, I don't know how many enemies he would have made for the Palace of the Ocean Dragons," Lin Feng said. Hearing Lin Feng's words, the corner of the mouth of the being in the divine stone twitched violently. He said coldly, "Brat, you killed my clansmen. How dare you boast so shamelessly? You're courting death. Take out the god-slaying spear formation and kill them." "Yes, Grand Elder," the densely packed sea clan creatures answered, and then they all took out a supreme treasure. It was a very special spear. It was made from a strange ancient tree that grew in the deep sea world. Its penetrating power was very strong, and it could easily pierce through the void. It could unleash an incredible power. The Palace of the Ocean Dragons chopped down all the strange ancient trees and used them to make tens of thousands of spears. Now these cultivators threw the spears in their hands. The densely packed spears contained a power that could destroy the world. The terrifying power made everyone's hair stand on end. The power of those spears was absolutely horrifying. Any single spear was extremely powerful, let alone so many spears thrown together. Its power was unimaginable. Humph. Lin Feng couldn't help but snort coldly and directly used the Space Stop Spirit ability. When this ability was used, The spears with extremely powerful penetrating power seemed to be imprisoned. His speed dropped drastically. Moreover, the power of those spears was also rapidly declining as the speed at which they were unleashed was decreasing. At this time, the three-headed viper spat out a dense amount of lightning and hailstones. Those attacks exploded in midair, and many spears were blown away. At the same time, the huge tail of the three-headed viper swept towards the merfolk creatures. Bang, bang, bang. Countless sea creatures were swept away by the three-headed viper's tail. Poison wave. The three-headed viper's attacks were relentless. It opened its three ferocious mouths and spat out one ball of poisonous gas after another. Those balls of poisonous gas directly exploded in the midst of the oceanic species. In an instant, poisonous gas filled the air. Those oceanic species were poisoned after inhaling the poisonous gas. Many oceanic species were directly poisoned to death. Courting death, the existence in the god's stone couldn't help but roar angrily and quickly rushed over, endless divine light gushing out. The divine light gushing out from the god's stone turned into a huge blade. That huge blade fell from the sky and slashed towards the three-headed viper. Obviously, the existence in the god's stone didn't care about a young human cultivator like Lin Feng. His attention, it was all on the three-headed viper. No matter what, the three-headed viper, it was also an emperor-level powerhouse. The giant saber instantly tore through the void. Then, it slashed towards the three-headed viper. Swoosh! Lin Feng disappeared without a trace, hiding in the void. The three-headed viper faced the existence in the god's stone head-on, while Lin Feng lay dormant, preparing to launch a sure-kill attack on that existence. The existence in the god's stone sneered, and a power that could distort time and space gushed out from the god's stone. The void within 100 meters of the god's stone violently distorted. The existence in the god's stone wanted to use the distorted void to block Lin Feng. Even if the distorted void couldn't stop Lin Feng, in the eyes of the existence in the god's stone, if Lin Feng appeared inside the distorted void, he would instantly sense this situation. Then, when the time came, yes, against Lin Feng, launch a sure-kill attack. At this time, the three-headed viper used a powerful divine ability to block the attack of that huge blade. A huge energy light shield condensed. That energy light shield floated in front of the three-headed viper. When the huge blade slashed down, it directly hit the energy light shield and was actually blocked by the energy light shield condensed by the three-headed viper. The three-headed viper had occupied the divine Tao Immortal Palace for so long, and this guy had obtained many divine ability inheritances from the divine Tao Immortal Palace. Perhaps this was the main reason why the three-headed viper was so powerful. Of course, its own bloodline must have played an extremely important role in its growth process. The huge blade didn't dissipate, and the attack didn't break the energy light shield condensed by the three-headed viper. The existence in the god stone continued to urge the huge blade to attack the energy light shield condensed by the three-headed viper. Clang, 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 clang. One attack after another landed on the energy light shield condensed by the three-headed viper. 3 attacks in a row. Gotcha, gotcha. Finally, the energy light shield condensed by the three-headed viper could no longer hold on. In the end, it was shattered by the huge blade. However, the huge blade condensed by the existence in the god's stone also dissipated. He continued to condense new divine abilities to attack the three-headed viper. But at this time, Lin Feng appeared beside him. The distance between them was less than 1 meter. Lin Feng's Tao of space was incomparably mysterious. The existence in the god stone was too confident in his methods. Therefore, he didn't think that Lin Feng could silently approach him. When Lin Feng arrived beside him, this existence discovered that Lin Feng was already beside him. Die! Lin Feng held the black dragon sword in his hand. He held the sword with both hands. He slashed out with all his strength. That tyrannical sword fiercely slashed towards the god stone. Clang! The powerful blow landed directly on the god stone. Gotcha! Gotcha! The god stone shattered. Then, Lin Feng activated the 6-fold dragon elephant arm and punched towards the cracked god stone. Bang! Rubble flew through the air. Then, Lin Feng's terrifying punch directly landed on the chest of the existence in the God Stone. Chapter 3874. Die. Lin Feng's voice was cold as the battle sword in his hand slashed towards the creature. The life form within the God Stone was an extremely old sea race life form. This sea race life form was covered in dragon scales, but it had a serpent tail. It was a creature that looked like a dragon, but wasn't a dragon. It looked like a dragon, but wasn't a dragon. Slash. After injuring that spirit, Lin Feng immediately rushed towards it. He was holding his black dragon sword in his hand and slashed towards that terrifying spirit. Kid, you deserve to die 10,000 times. The terrifying existence roared, its eyes bursting with boundless killing intent. An expert like him, high and mighty, was injured by Lin Feng. Naturally, he was incomparably furious, and he felt extremely aggrieved and even felt a great humiliation because of this. Other than that, his lifespan was already very little. He sealed himself in the divine stone, and his lifespan stopped flowing. He could still live for many years. When he obtained a heaven-defying opportunity and broke through his cultivation again, he could break the divine stone and live like a normal person. But now, the timing wasn't right. He didn't obtain a heaven-defying opportunity and couldn't break through at all. Because he couldn't break through. Now, he returned to heaven and earth. It wouldn't be long before his lifespan ran out. He would die soon. At their age, all kinds of elixirs and miraculous medicines were basically no longer able to prolong their lives. So, being born in advance, this existence had no choice but to face the threat of death. Therefore, this existence gnashed his teeth in hatred towards Lin Feng. He couldn't wait to eat Lin Feng's flesh and drink Lin Feng's blood. Facing Lin Feng's attack, this existence's reaction was extremely fast. He opened his big hand, and suddenly, 18 black demonic dragons flew out and pounced towards Lin Feng. Feeling the terror of the 18 black demonic dragons, Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. He hurriedly retreated and at the same time, waved the black dragon sword and slashed towards the 18 black demonic dragons. Puff, puff, puff. One by one, the black demonic dragons were killed by Lin Feng. That terrifying existence pounced towards Lin Feng, wanting to kill Lin Feng. However, at this moment, the three-headed viper turned into a black light. Like a peerlessly sharp spear, it instantly pierced through the void. They shot towards this terrifying existence. The terrifying existence had an indifferent look on his face. He directly condensed an illusory immortal mountain and pressed down on the black light formed by the three-headed viper. The three-headed viper, which had transformed into a black light, was immediately suppressed in midair. The three-headed viper transformed back into its original form. Then, it began to struggle. The illusory immortal mountain began to crumble. However, it would take some time for it to break through the suppression. Whoosh! With a wave of his hand, Lin Feng summoned a dozen powerful magic treasures. Lin Feng summoned them. Those powerful magic treasures hovered around Lin Feng, each of them exuding the power to distort space-time. That terrifying existence sneered and said, "Brat, he really had a lot of treasures on him, but it was useless. Your cultivation level is too low. No matter how many treasures you have, only death awaits you." The terrifying existence sneered and said. He waved his hands again and again. Suddenly, a huge whirlpool appeared in front of him. That huge whirlpool enveloped all of the magical treasures within. Lin Feng's magic treasures were actually unable to break free from the huge whirlpool. What a powerful cultivation! Lin Feng could not help but take a deep breath. This guy was already injured, but he was still so powerful. This was beyond Lin Feng's expectations. This guy's cultivation level was obviously very high. Now, he was probably in trouble. Lin Feng could not think of a way to deal with this guy for the time being. "Brat, are you ready to die?" The terrifying existence looked at Lin Feng with a sinister smile. Right now, he only wanted to kill Lin Feng to vent his hatred. This terrifying existence quickly rushed towards Lin Feng. He wanted to kill Lin Feng. At this moment, a thought flashed through Lin Feng's mind. He thought of the Eye of Death. The Eye of Death could deprive others of their lifespan. Although the existence in front of him had a terrifying cultivation level, it was not without weaknesses. His weakness was that his lifespan was extremely short. Once the Eye of Death was activated, it might be able to deprive him of his lifespan in a very short period of time. Thinking of this, Lin Feng's face could not help but reveal a trace of joy. He began to activate the Eye of Death. Whoosh! The light of death shone towards the terrifying existence. The terrifying existence's expression was indifferent. He waved his hand and swept it towards the light of death. However, the light of death was extremely strange. It was not destroyed by this terrifying existence. Instead, the light of death wrapped around the terrifying existence's body. This terrifying existence's already short lifespan was instantly deprived of half of it. Ah, my lifespan! My lifespan! The terrifying existence cried out in horror. What he cared about the most now was his limited lifespan. He did not want to die. He wanted to live on, but his lifespan was already very short. He was originally worried about his short lifespan, but now, his lifespan was already extremely short, and Lin Feng had taken away another part of it. This almost drove this terrifying existence crazy. He quickly retreated, not daring to get close to Lin Feng. Lin Feng could deprive him of his lifespan. This was too much of a threat to him. Hee. Let's see how much lifespan you have left to be deprived by me. Lin Feng chased after him with a sneer. Kid, the grudge between us is not that deep. How about we both take a step back? The terrifying existence shouted. Are you dreaming? Lin Feng sneered and did not back down. The terrifying existence turned around and fled. Lin Feng collected many treasures. The three-headed viper also broke free from the suppression. Lin Feng said, Kill all of these people from the Dragon Palace. Leave no one alive. Yes, great master. After receiving the order, the three-headed viper quickly pounced on the cultivators from the Dragon Palace. Lin Feng, on the other hand, chased after the powerful existence that escaped. Whoosh! The powerful existence dived into the sea and quickly swam downwards. His speed was much faster than when he was in the air. However, Lin Feng's speed was also extremely fast. It was not easy for this guy to shake off Lin Feng. Kid, do you really want to kill me? If I choose to self-detonate, we will die together, shouted the terrifying cultivator furiously. Surprisingly, he was threatening Lin Feng with self-destruction. Self-detonation? Do you not value your life at all? Lin Feng sneered. He did not believe that this person would choose to self-detonate. He sped up and chased after the cultivator. The cultivator also sped up his escape. Chapter 3875. The Great Rift Valley exuded a sinister and terrifying aura. Lin Feng could not help but frown when he sensed the aura coming from the Great Rift Valley. It seemed that this Great Rift Valley was not as simple as it seemed. This terrifying existence had purposely lured him here. As he went deeper and deeper into the Great Rift Valley, Lin Feng saw many skeletons in the Great Rift Valley. These skeletons clearly belonged to cultivators who had died here due to various reasons. It was unknown how many years had passed since those cultivators had died. Therefore, their corpses had long decayed. The terrifying existence was still flying deeper into the Great Rift Valley. The Great Rift Valley was filled with powerful space-time energy. Lin Feng saw huge rifts one after another. Those were space-time rifts. The space-time energy spewed out from the rifts. Large amounts of seawater were swallowed by the space-time rifts. The strangest thing was that the space-time rifts were not fixed. Those space-time rifts were constantly moving. When Lin Feng arrived at the Great Rift Valley's depths, the space-time rifts had sealed the way out. That terrifying existence stopped as well. He laughed sinisterly and said, Kid, you've really followed me. You've really chased after me. You're courting death, so don't blame me. Lin Feng laughed coldly. He wanted to see what this terrifying existence was up to. Immortal eating spiders, come out. The terrifying existence roared. At that moment, huge spiders crawled out from the space-time rifts. These spiders were 4 to 5 meters tall. At their abdomens, there was a hideous human head. Hundreds of spiders crawled out. They all stared at Lin Feng as if they were staring at the most delicious food. These terrifying spiders clearly saw Lin Feng as their food. Foreign living beings. Lin Feng was shocked. These spider demons were actually a group of foreign living beings. Lin Feng had encountered foreign living beings before. He was more sensitive to their aura. He could confirm that these spider demons were foreign living beings. This was the first time Lin Feng had seen foreign living beings after coming to the great heavenly sage world. That's right. That's right. This brat's flesh and blood was extremely powerful, tempering the sword. The prey you brought this time is pretty good. I hope you can bring us more prey like this in the future. A spider spirit said sinisterly. It seemed that the spider demons and the expert from Dragon Palace had known each other for a long time. They had even reached some kind of special agreement between them. Hee, everyone, don't worry. When the time comes, I'll definitely bring you even more delicious food. Now, enjoy this delicious meal to your heart's content, the expert from Dragon Palace called Aojian said. Eat him. A group of spider demons charged towards Lin Feng. Their auras were extremely terrifying. There were even emperor-level spider spirits among them, and there was more than one. Being surrounded by such a large group of spider demons was naturally very dangerous, but Lin Feng was not afraid. Whoosh! Lin Feng waved his hand. Instantly, the 3 pristine 8 trigrams diagram flew out. The 3 pristine 8 trigrams floated in the air. Waves of astonishing fluctuations surged out from the 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram. Then, golden light gushed out. It shone towards the spider demons. Streaks of golden light bombarded the bodies of the spider demons. Puff, puff, puff. Ripping sounds could be heard. The bodies of the spider demons were pierced, and they died on the spot. Although the spider demons were powerful, they were restrained by the 3 pristine 8 trigrams diagram. The most terrifying thing about the 3 pristine 8 trigrams diagram was that it could restrain 6 different types of living beings. Now, the spider demons could not withstand the attacks of the 3 pristine 8 trigrams diagram. Run! Run quickly! The spider demons screamed in fear. They quickly fled towards the space-time cracks. Apart from the dozens of spider demon corpses, the rest of the spider demons were trapped in the space-time cracks. Lin Feng, on the other hand, looked at Aojian indifferently. The spider demons ignored Aojian. Aojian's expression turned ugly. He had not expected Lin Feng to have a treasure that could restrain the spider demons. This was troublesome. Aojian turned around and fled into the distance, wanting to leave this place as soon as possible. Shua. However, at that moment, Lin Feng activated the Eyes of Death. A ray of death light shot out from the Eyes of Death and swept towards Aojian. The ray of death light swept across Aojian's body. No, no, no. My lifespan. Aojian could not help but scream. His lifespan was taken away once again. To Aojian, this was a fate worse than death. He fled madly, wanting to leave this place. However, he was unable to escape in the end. The second ray of death light flew over and swept across Aojian's body. Aojian's body. It could not withstand the power of the second ray of death light. All of his lifespan was instantly taken away by the second ray of death light. Why is this happening? Am I going to die just like that? I am not willing to accept this. Aojian smiled miserably. His corpse fell down from the sky. Lin Feng threw a punch and destroyed Aojian's corpse. Lin Feng then took Aojian's original strength and ring. Kikik. Suddenly, a sinister voice came from the space-time cracks. It was as terrifying as the laughter of a malicious spirit. When Lin Feng heard the laughter, he frowned. He could not help but frown. Kid, come in. We can talk. This is a negotiation that will greatly benefit both of us. A sharp and ear-piercing voice came from the cracks. It was a woman's voice. Who are you? Lin Feng asked. I am the king of spiders. Are you afraid after hearing my name? If you are, you can leave. I will not stop you from leaving. The existence continued. Trying to provoke me is useless against me. Lin Feng said indifferently, however, I am somewhat interested in you. I would like to see what kind of existence the so-called king of spiders is. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng flew towards one of the space-time cracks. He entered one of the space-time cracks. There were space-time storms wreaking havoc in the space-time cracks. Lin Feng held the hurricane pearl in his hand. Thus, the space-time storms could not harm Lin Feng. There were also many spider spirits hibernating in the space-time cracks. However, when they saw Lin Feng, they all fled far away. Clearly, they were extremely afraid of Lin Feng's 3 pure 8 trigrams diagram. Chapter 3876. In the endless space-time. An indescribably huge existence was being chained up by numerous chains. A single claw of that terrifying existence was hundreds of thousands of meters long, perhaps even 1,000,000 meters long. It was impossible to know how big its body was. That existence was the king of spiders, a terrifying creature that had lived for who knew how many millions of years. It was a terrifying being that had come from the foreign realm to this epic universe. She was different from other spider spirits. The king of spiders had an extremely beautiful face. If one looked at her face alone, one would fall in love at first sight. However, when one looked at the king of spiders' body with that face, one would not fall in love at first sight. Instead, one would feel fear and horror. "Why did you call me here?" Lin Feng looked at the king of spiders and asked, "What a handsome young man. Did you know? Actually, I like interacting with you humans the most. I remember meeting one of your ancestors in the past. That ancestor of yours is really powerful." The king of spiders could not help but sigh. Lin Feng frowned and asked, "You know my origin?" "Of course. Do you think I'm trapped here? Can't I sense your bloodline?" The king of spiders asked. "That's not it." Lin Feng shook his head. He then asked, "Who is this ancestor you're talking about?" "I don't know his name. I remember a demon brought him into the Undying Realm's barren sky ridge. I met him there." Why do you still have that demon's aura on you? Let me take a closer look." The king of spiders' eyes turned into a demonic blood-red color, but they quickly returned to normal. The king of spiders said, "So this guy is in one of your treasures." Lin Feng was surprised. He knew who the king of spiders was talking about. The demon she was talking about was the demon lord. In the past, he had an ancestor who had once shattered the Undying Realm's barrier with a single punch. The demon lord knew his ancestor, but he was unwilling to talk about his ancestor. Therefore, Lin Feng didn't get much information from the demon lord about the ancestor. "You weren't imprisoned by my ancestor, were you?" Lin Feng asked in surprise. "Of course not. To be honest, I still have to thank your ancestor. It was all thanks to your ancestor that I was able to walk out of the desolate sky ridge." The king of 10,000 spiders said, "What do you mean?" Lin Feng asked. "This matter is very complicated. Your ancestor. You helped me get out of the desolate sky ridge. Therefore, I am indebted to your bloodline. If you don't believe me, you can ask that monster." The king of 10,000 spiders said, "Demon Lord, is what she said true?" asked Lin Feng telepathically. "It's true. He is indeed your ancestor. To help her escape." Yao Jun said after a moment of silence. Lin Feng was surprised. According to normal reasoning, these foreign creatures were all things that everyone had the right to kill. Why? His own ancestor would help this foreign creature break free? This made Lin Feng feel very strange. He was also very puzzled. The king of spiders asked, "If you have any doubts, feel free to ask me. Why would my ancestor help you leave the desolate sky ridge?" Lin Feng asked. He had heard of the desolate sky ridge before. It was one of the most terrifying forbidden areas in the Undying Realm. Foreign creatures. There are good and evil. Not all of them were foreign creatures. They are all evil. The king of spiders said, "So you're saying that? Are you one of the more righteous, otherworldly creatures?" Lin Feng frowned. The king of 10,000 spiders said, "I don't know if I am a righteous foreign creature, but ever since I came to this universe, I have never killed the innocent." "Oh, is that so? That's really surprising. Then why did you come to this universe?" Lin Feng asked. "I am." The king of spiders' eyes revealed a look of reminiscence. Her originally cold and gloomy eyes had actually become gentle at this very moment. It was truly somewhat inconceivable. Back then, I was just a small spider. A very, very small spider. I wasn't very strong, nor did I have any talent for cultivation. Once in a while, I had the chance to eat a spirit herb and awaken my spiritual sense. My body began to change, and I became less and less like my own kind. I was ostracized and hunted down by my own kind. I almost died, but that day, I saw him. I climbed on top of him and hid. The spiders chasing me didn't dare to come forward, and I finally escaped. But how can we hide all this from him? He grabbed my body and placed me in his palm. I was really scared back then. I was worried that he would crush me to death. But he didn't do that. I will never forget his voice when he spoke to me for the first time. His voice was so gentle and warm. He asked me why I was being chased by a group of spiders. I couldn't speak. I wanted to talk to him, but I didn't know how to. He said that everything has a spirit. Even a spider has its own life. All lives are equal. He took me with him and let me recuperate at his place. He was looking for an extremely precious spirit medicine in the mountain forest. It seems that his mother was seriously ill and needed that spirit medicine. However, he searched many places and still couldn't find that spirit medicine. My injuries were healed. He let me go back to the forest. He was about to leave, and he needed to go somewhere else to find that herb. I wanted to leave with him, but I couldn't speak. I could only watch him leave. From then on, I cultivated as if my life depended on it. I cultivated as if my life depended on it. I risked my life to devour the heavenly treasures guarded by those powerful creatures. I even risked my life to hunt even more powerful beasts. I needed their flesh and blood to help me advance. I kept working hard. I wanted to transform into a human as soon as possible so that I could find him as soon as possible. I don't know how many years passed, but I finally transformed into a human. I left the ancient forest and went to find him. I searched for many years, but I couldn't find him. But I found his family. I found out from his clansmen that his mother had become a living dead, and he was still looking for that precious spirit herb. Chapter 3877. What happened after that? Lin Feng asked. The king of spiders said, I drifted in the space between the universes. The outside world was too mysterious for me, full of unknowns. Therefore, I didn't know where I drifted to. Until one day, I found myself in another universe. This universe, it was full of vitality, full of hope. It is the universe we are in now. I searched for him for a long time, but I couldn't find him. At this time, some foreign creatures came to this universe one after another. Some of them were very greedy. They wanted to continuously plunder the resources of this universe. They even wanted to enslave this universe. Therefore, conflicts arose and a great war broke out. The war was too fierce. Apart from the otherworldly creatures, there seemed to be other races participating as well. The otherworldly creatures invited me to participate in the war, but I refused. I didn't want to obtain so many resources, nor did I want to enslave others. I just wanted to find him. However, by chance, I discovered a secret. Behind the scenes of this war, there seems to be a pair of black hands pushing all of this forward. Lin Feng was shocked when he heard this. The king of spiders had mentioned the dark hands behind the scenes. According to Lin Feng's knowledge, there was indeed a pair of dark hands behind the scenes, pushing everything forward. However, no one knew the origins of the dark hands behind the scenes. I seemed to have discovered a great secret, but I didn't want to delve too deeply into it, because if I knew that secret, I might not have a good ending. However, I underestimated the power of the dark hands behind the scenes. They seemed to have discovered me. Not long after, terrifying existences came to hunt me down. Those existences lingered in the darkness. I didn't know what they were. I fled all the way until I reached the barren sky ridge. Those terrifying existences didn't chase me into the barren sky ridge. At this point, the Spider King paused. Lin Feng frowned and pondered. The barren sky ridge was equivalent to the undying world's forbidden zone. The forbidden zones of every world were extremely terrifying. Furthermore, there were countless secrets hidden within. Clearly, the barren sky ridge was the same. Why didn't those terrifying existences dare to enter the barren sky ridge? This made Lin Feng very confused. You seem to be trapped in the desolate sky ridge? Lin Feng asked. It's like this. I'm trapped in the wasteland ridge. It was the terrifying existence in the desolate heaven ridge that suppressed me. The king of 10,000 spiders said. Lin Feng said in shock, Is there such a powerful creature in the barren sky ridge? Why didn't he kill you? The wasteland ridge is much more terrifying than I imagined. As for why he didn't kill me, I don't know either. The Spider King said, I don't know how many years have passed. Your ancestor has entered the barren sky ridge. He wants to challenge the strongest existence in the undying world and fight against the ruler of the barren sky ridge. The battle between the two of them was too terrifying. Many seals were shattered, and that was when I escaped. Then, who imprisoned you here? Lin Feng asked doubtfully. It's a group of otherworldly beings. They want to kill me. However, my body is almost undying. They tried many times, but to no avail. In the end, they could only imprison me here. The Spider King said. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows. He didn't know if the Spider King's words could be trusted. He had a feeling that the Spider King was hiding something. The Spider King wasn't telling the complete truth. Of course, that was just Lin Feng's guess. As for whether it was as he guessed, no one knew. What kind of cooperation do you want from me? Lin Feng asked. I want you to help me look for him. The Spider King said. Lin Feng knew who the king of the 10,000 spiders was talking about. The him she was referring to was the man she had been looking for all this time. Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. The world is so big. Where am I supposed to find him? Moreover, it's hard to say whether he's even in this universe. So, I really can't help you with your request. The Spider King said. I found some clues in the past. He should be in this universe, so I hope that you can help me find him. Do you think it's possible to find him with just your description? Lin Feng asked. The Spider King said. I have a keepsake here. As soon as she finished speaking, a ball of divine light flew out. The ball of divine light actually wrapped around a strand of hair. The keepsake the Spider King was talking about was actually a strand of hair. This is his hair. I've been carrying it with me for so many years. You can use it to find him. The Spider King said. Lin Feng said indifferently. What benefits do I have? There are naturally benefits. Back then, I saw a stone scripture. That stone scripture seems to have the same origin as a certain power in your body. The Spider King said. What? A stone scripture? Lin Feng's eyes couldn't help but widen. He felt his heartbeat quicken. He had a feeling that the stone scripture the Spider King was talking about was very likely the holy scripture passed down by the Heavenly Master's bloodline. It was the most precious treasure of the Heavenly Master's bloodline. At the same time, many unimaginable secret techniques were recorded in it. The core inheritance was also recorded in the stone scripture. All these years, Lin Feng had always wanted to find the stone scripture, but he hadn't been able to find any clues. Now, Lin Feng was very excited that he had obtained a clue about the stone scripture from the Spider King. That power of the same origin, is it this power? Lin Feng flicked his finger, and the Stone Emperor's scripture condensed a special godly power. That's right, the Spider King said. Lin Feng took a deep breath. Sure enough, it was just as he had guessed. It really was the holy scripture of the Heavenly Master's bloodline. Where is the stone scripture? Lin Feng asked. So, you're planning to cooperate with me? The Spider King asked. Of course. Lin Feng nodded. The stone scripture is in a cave in the depths of the 7th mountain range. The Spider King said. Good. I'll do my best to help you find the person you're looking for. If there's any news, I'll send someone to inform you. Lin Feng said. Then, he flew outside. He quickly left the area. Great Empress, why do you want this person to help you find the whereabouts of that person? An emperor-level spider asked. Chapter 3878. Hum, hum, hum. 3 dragon-like cries were heard. In the distance, the 3-headed viper's huge body flew over quickly. Lin Feng sat cross-legged on the middle head of the 3-headed viper. Let's go to the Dragon Palace. Let's see what treasures they have. Lin Feng ordered the three-headed viper. The palace of the ocean dragons was naturally very powerful. It was a giant in the sea world. But now, Ao Jin, the secret powerhouse of the palace of the ocean dragons, had died. The palace of the ocean dragons was much weaker now, Lin Feng guessed. Even if the palace of the ocean dragons still had a secret powerhouse, at most, there was probably only one of them. After all, it was just an overlord in the sea area. How could it have so many top-level powerhouses? Lin Feng planned to rob the palace of the ocean dragons. He wondered if there were any good things in the palace of the ocean dragons. Lin Feng guessed that there should be a lot of precious things in the huge palace of the ocean dragons. This was a world where the strong preyed on the weak. So, Lin Feng felt at ease when he robbed the palace of the ocean dragons. 3 days later, the three-headed viper arrived at the sea area where the palace of the ocean dragons was. Then it carried Lin Feng directly. It flew quickly towards the underwater world. Soon, they arrived at the underwater world. They saw many magnificent palaces from afar. And those palaces, it was the palace of the ocean dragons. In the sea area, many sea creatures were patrolling with weapons in their hands. Those sea creatures were very powerful. They noticed the two uninvited guests, Lin Feng and the three-headed viper. They all gathered around. The Dragon Palace is an important place. Leave now, or we'll execute you on the spot. Some sea creatures shouted coldly, trying to scare off Lin Feng and the three-headed viper. The three-headed viper's thick tail swept out, and a large number of oceanic species creatures behind it were sent flying. At the same time, the three-headed viper released the power of thunder and lightning. Water was conductive, so it released the power of thunder and lightning in the sea. The power of the lightning would be greatly increased. The sea creatures in front of them were turned into charcoal by the three-headed viper's lightning. Even though these sea creatures were extremely powerful, they were still extremely powerful. However, he was still too weak in front of the three-headed viper. The three-headed viper carried Lin Feng to the top of the Dragon Palace. "Who are you? How dare you barge into our Dragon Palace?" The Dragon King was alarmed. He flew out personally and shouted in a deep voice. Apart from the Dragon King, many creatures showed up in the palace of the ocean dragons. They glared at Lin Feng, who was sitting on the head of the three-headed viper. Naturally, they could tell that the three-headed viper was Lin Feng's mount. An Emperor Lord-level powerful creature was only the mount of a young human cultivator. This was indeed very inconceivable, but the world was so big that anything could happen. Ao Jian from the palace of the ocean dragons. Aoshin, it's all because you offended me. I've already killed him. If you don't want the palace of the ocean dragons to be destroyed, then open your treasure vault obediently. I'm going to rob your treasure vault clean. Lin Feng said loudly. What? Both the Grand Elder and Ao Shun were killed? The cultivators of the palace of the ocean dragons were shocked. They wouldn't be so surprised if Ao Shun was the only one killed. After all, Ao Shin was a third-generation cultivator. However, even the Emperor Lord level Ao Jian was killed. They couldn't accept that. You're talking nonsense. Could it be that you think you can kill old ancestor Ao Jian with just you and this low-level Emperor Lord mount? You're daydreaming. The Dragon King said coldly. What? You still don't believe me? I'll show it to you, and you'll believe what I'm saying. Lin Feng sneered and waved his hand. Instantly, many images appeared in the air. These were the images of Lin Feng taking Ao Jian's lifespan with the Eye of Death and killing him at the space-time crack. When they saw those images, everyone's faces couldn't help but reveal an aghast expression. Ao Jian, he was really dead. There's a limit to my patience. Open the treasure vault door quickly, or else I'll destroy the Dragon Palace now. Lin Feng said fiercely. Who's afraid of you? If we really fight, the Dragon Palace has thousands of troops. We might be able to kill the two of you. A higher-up of the Dragon Palace said fiercely. As the saying goes, ants can kill an elephant when there are enough of them. It seemed like this person belonged to the pro-war faction. Is that so? Then let's see how many people from the Dragon Palace will die under my battle sword. Lin Feng said coldly. With a flash, a battle sword appeared in Lin Feng's hand. It was the Black Dragon Sword. The Black Dragon Sword was surrounded by black smoke. A black dragon was formed and wrapped around the black dragon sword. It was baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. It was terrifying. Sir, please calm down. We can open the treasure vault. Let you take all the treasures in the vault. However, I hope that when the time comes, our feud, we can write it off. Dragon King said in a deep voice. Ha 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 ha. A wise man submits to circumstances. I always keep my words. I'll take all the treasures from the Dragon Palace. Naturally, I won't target the Dragon Palace. Lin Feng said with a laugh. On the side of the Dragon Palace, some experts looked gloomy. They wanted to say something but were stopped by Dragon King. The Dragon King obviously had more considerations than these people. Sir, please come with me, Dragon King said. He led the way. Soon, they came to the treasure vault of the Dragon Palace. There was a space inside the treasure vault of the Dragon Palace. There were all kinds of treasures piled up inside. Lin Feng was not in the mood to check those treasures. He would take them first. A large number of treasures were moved into time and space by Lin Feng. All kinds of treasures were piled up like a mountain. Finally, Lin Feng ransacked the treasure vault of the Dragon Palace completely. Then he rode the three-headed viper and soared into the sky, leaving the Dragon Palace. After Lin Feng left, one of the higher-ups of the Dragon Palace said with a long face, Dragon King beat him up. Why did he open the treasure vault for that guy? If we activate the formation, trap that guy, we might not be able to kill him. The blood-boiling ancestor is at the hidden latch of life and death. He can't be disturbed now. If he is disturbed, the loss will outweigh the gain. That little bastard. He killed the blood-boiling ancestor and Shan-Er. He has an irreconcilable feud with the Dragon Palace of the Azure Sea. We won't let him go so easily. When the blood-boiling ancestor comes out of seclusion, that's when he will die without a burial place. Dragon King said eerily, when the time comes, we must grind that little bastard into ashes. Otherwise, it will be hard to vent the hatred in our hearts. Chapter 3879. The three-headed viper flew above the sea, heading straight for the Divine Crow Island. At this moment, Lin Feng's divine will invaded time and space. He was looking at the treasures he got from the Dragon Palace. There were all kinds of immortal iron, divine stones, elixirs, heavenly treasures, and other treasures. What made Lin Feng happy was that he got a lot of insect materials from the Dragon Palace's treasury. There were a total of 45 insect materials to cultivate the primordial ancestral worms. There were a total of 18 insect materials to cultivate the Emperor Archaic. There were a total of 42 insect materials to cultivate the primordial demon refining worms. There were a total of 23 insect materials to cultivate the celestial devouring worms. These insect materials were all very precious. Usually, they were very hard to find. It was really not easy to find these insect materials. In addition to these precious insect materials, Lin Feng also found a bottle of demonic liquid of heaven and earth. It was rumored this was a treasure born from heaven and earth. It was of no use to human cultivators, but to demon cultivators, it was the most precious treasure. Bibi, Xiaolong, Dragon Rabbit, and the other two little fellows were excited. Their eyes were shining as they looked at the demonic liquid of heaven and earth. The three little fellows were all very extraordinary. They had already gained intelligence and could sense the great effect the demonic liquid of heaven and earth had on their bodies. They knew, if they could refine the demonic liquid of heaven and earth, it would be very important to their cultivation. So now the three little fellows were very eager to swallow the demonic liquid of heaven and earth. Lin Feng treated them equally. He divided the demonic liquid of heaven and earth into 3 parts. He gave them to the three little fellows. The three little fellows hurriedly swallowed the demonic liquid of heaven and earth. After swallowing the demonic liquid of heaven and earth, the three little fellows entered a state of deep sleep. They needed to sleep to absorb the energy of the demonic liquid of heaven and earth. By the time they woke up, their abilities would have been greatly improved. Lin Feng was looking forward to it. Lin Feng also found a bronze book. This book was called the Demonic Dragon Tome. It recorded many divine powers passed down from the Dragon Palace. However, Most of them were draconic divine abilities. The dragon language divine ability was the most powerful when cultivated by the dragon race. Next were some races that were somewhat related to the dragon race. For example, the flood dragons, snakes, and pythons. Although the dragon language divine ability was not as powerful as the dragon race's divine ability, it could still release an extremely terrifying power. Lin Feng gave the magic dragon scripture to the three-headed viper and told him to comprehend these draconic spiritual techniques. The three-headed viper was known for having 3 heads. Therefore, he could do 3 things at once. His methods were also extremely terrifying. If he succeeded in cultivating these draconic divine abilities, he would be able to cultivate them. It could greatly increase its battle prowess. What's that? Lin Feng suddenly discovered a piece of broken wood. It was a piece of charred wood. It seemed to have been struck by lightning. However, that piece of wood still contained vitality, which made Lin Feng very surprised. Generally speaking, it was very difficult for lightning-struck wood to have any vitality left. However, clearly, this piece of thunderstruck wood was not ordinary. Lin Feng studied it carefully, but he was still unable to figure out what kind of tree this piece of thunderstruck wood was left behind. Lin Feng withdrew his mind and planned to study it in the future. After exploring these treasures, Lin Feng was still very satisfied. After exploring those treasures, Lin Feng planted the Grand Firmament Purple Thunder Bamboo in time and space, hoping that the Grand Firmament Purple Thunder Bamboo could grow faster. When the time came, Lin Feng planned to use the Grand Firmament Purple Thunder Bamboo to create a treasure. In fact, Lin Feng planned to use the Grand Firmament Purple Thunder Bamboo to create a second natal magic treasure. Of course, this was only Lin Feng's initial idea. Creating a natal magic treasure was no small matter. Lin Feng needed to observe the Grand Firmament Purple Thunder Bamboo first before making a decision. Half a month later, Lin Feng finally arrived at the Divine Crow Island. The Divine Crow Island was a cultivator settlement established by Divine Crow Daoist, one of the top 10 rogue cultivator experts overseas. There were many people coming and going here, and it was very lively. The three-headed viper was sent back into time and space by Lin Feng, and then Lin Feng landed on the Divine Crow Island. After landing on the Divine Crow Island, Lin Feng inquired about the whereabouts of Nangong Xian, and Mulioshi in a few of the more high-end inns. Nangong Xian, and Mulioshi, a pair of great beauties, were the focus of attention wherever they went, so it was quite easy to inquire about their news. After inquiring about the two, Lin Feng asked someone to report. Not long after, the 2 women arrived, and after seeing Lin Feng, they were very excited. These days, the 2 women had not seen Lin Feng, and they did not eat or drink. Now that they saw Lin Feng, their mood became happy. 2 fairies, long time no see, you still look as good as before, Lin Feng said with a smile. The 2 women blushed slightly and rolled their eyes at Lin Feng. Nangong Xianer then said, "Please follow us, young master." Lin Feng nodded and followed behind Nangong Xian, and Mulioshi to their residence. Who is that brat? After seeing him, Nangong Xian, and Mulioshi's faces glowed. Don't tell me that the 2 fairies admire that brat? Damn. The 2 fairies are the most beautiful women in our vast ocean world, and they have never looked at a male cultivator before. Looking at the 2 fairies' expressions, it seems like they have really fallen in love with that brat. I'm so jealous. What did that brat do to make the 2 fairies fall in love with him? Thinking that the 2 fairies might be taken soon, my heart is bleeding. Many cultivators began to talk about it. All of them wished that they could replace Lin Feng. Lin Feng naturally didn't know what the cultivators were talking about. He followed Nangong Xian, and Mulioshi to their residence and said, "Fairy Nangong, what do you need my help with? Can you tell me now?" It's like this. In the past, my family suffered a calamity. Many of my relatives died tragically. Among my closest relatives, only my mother survived. However, because my mother was poisoned by a strange kind of poison, she fell into a coma. Fortunately, I found the prescription, but there are 2 spiritual herbs that I haven't been able to find. The first spiritual herb is called the Netherworld Kinggrass, and the second spiritual herb is called the Celestial Dragon Fruit. After asking around, I found out that there will be an auction on Divine Crow Island in half a month. At that time, someone will take out the celestial dragon fruit for auction. As for the Netherworld kinggrass, it is said that it can be found on the Netherworld island in the depths of the Netherworld sea region. That place is extremely dangerous, and with my cultivation, only death awaits me if I go there. Therefore, I want to ask young master to help me enter the Netherworld island and find the Netherworld kinggrass. Nangong Xianer said, Of course, but I want to read the immortal scripture first. Lin Feng said. Chapter 3880. Because there was still half a month before the auction would be held. Therefore, Lin Feng planned to cultivate properly during this period of time. Lin Feng entered the time and space to cultivate. After breaking through to the Imperial Emperor realm, Lin Feng could already enter the 8th floor of the Chonglu Demon Palace, but he still hadn't entered. Lin Feng obtained the Divine Dao Immortal Palace. The inner hall of the Divine Dao Immortal Palace wasn't opened by the three-headed viper, so he didn't know what was inside. Other than that, Lin Feng still had the powerful divine ability of the 72 gods that he hadn't cultivated yet. However, Lin Feng planned to cultivate the divine ability of the 72 gods first. After he succeeded in cultivating this divine ability, he would consider entering the 8th floor of the Chonglu Demon Palace and exploring the Divine Dao Immortal Palace. It wasn't easy to cultivate the divine ability of the 72 gods, but Lin Feng's comprehension was strong. In addition, Lin Feng's comprehension of various Daos was quite profound. Therefore, for Lin Feng, it was much easier for him to learn the 72 godly skills than for other people. 2.5 months passed in the time and space. Lin Feng finally succeeded in cultivating the divine ability of the 72 gods. After he came out of seclusion, he found out that there were still 2 days before the auction. He could rest for a while before going to the auction. Lin Feng wasn't too interested in this auction. This was because there were very few things that could attract Lin Feng's attention. In such an auction, the chances of a top-notch treasure appearing weren't particularly high. At most, it was easier for some rare items to appear, such as the immortal dragon fruit that Nangong Xian wanted to buy. It was a rare heavenly treasure. Before this, Lin Feng had never even heard of such a heavenly treasure. At night, Mu Liushi and Nangong Xian pulled Lin Feng to the Yuntai River to play. The Yuntai River was located in the interior of the island, and there were flower boats everywhere. This was a paradise for male cultivators. Therefore, many male cultivators liked to come here. However, this was also a place for men and women to date. On both sides of the river, the scenery was beautiful. Many people liked to rent a boat and travel on it. And today, it was the 15th of January. It was a day to admire the lanterns. Lin Feng seemed to have forgotten about these festivals. Because it had been too many years. They were all alone, and it was very difficult for them to stay in one place like ordinary people. When Lin Feng, Mu Liushi, and Nangong Xian arrived at the Yuntai River, they saw that both sides of the river were bustling with activity. In the Yuntai River, flower boats were intertwined. It was a magnificent sight. Many of the boats had gorgeously dressed women standing on them. They stroked their hair coquettishly, attracting passers-by. These flower boats are simply an eyesore, Nangong Xianer said. Mu Liushi smiled and said, If it weren't for these boats, the Yuntai River wouldn't be so lively. The three of them rented a boat and boarded it. The boatman rowed the boat. The boat began to float on the Yuntai River. The three of them enjoyed the scenery along the river as they drank. This was a rare leisurely time. For Lin Feng, it was even a little extravagant. Because Lin Feng spent most of his time in cultivation, he rarely had time to be so leisurely. The boat drifted far away. Suddenly, the sound of a zither came from afar. The sound of the zither was elegant, like a spring breeze brushing past one's body. On an ancient boat in the distance, a woman sat at the bow. 2 beautiful maids stood behind her to serve her. The woman was dressed in snow-white clothes. She was as otherworldly as a fairy from the 9th heaven, attracting many people's attention. But no one dared to disturb the female cultivator playing the zither, or they didn't want to ruin such a wonderful atmosphere. When the song ended, many boats rowed towards the woman's boat. They probably wanted to strike up a conversation with the woman. The boat that Lin Feng and the other 2 took returned. They had already planned to go back and rest. The day of the auction arrived. People came and went, and it was very lively. Lin Feng and the other two came to the auction house, asked for a box, and then waited quietly. Many people came one after another. There were even many powerful figures who came. Every time a big shot came, it would cause a lot of exclamations and discussions. At this time, a woman in white arrived. The auction house was immediately in an uproar, because the identity of the woman in white was extremely extraordinary. It was rumored the woman in white came from the Undying Realm. This was also the reason why there was such a huge commotion. It wasn't that Lin Feng hadn't seen cultivators from the Undying Realm before. For example, that Tian Wuya was a cultivator from the Undying Realm. It was just that he didn't know which force this woman in white was from in the Undying Realm. Some of the young geniuses from the big families in the Undying Realm would often choose to leave the Undying Realm and travel through space, and then use this to train themselves. There were more and more people like this, because, after the appearance of the 5 decay of the celestial being, the originally declining world of cultivators began to flourish. Therefore, many heaven-defying opportunities appeared in many places. This was also the reason why those cultivators from the Undying Realm liked to travel. Who knows, they might be able to obtain a great opportunity somewhere. 2 hours later, the auction began. The one presiding over the auction was an old man called Tang Tianyang. This person was the vice president of the auction house. One after another, precious auction items were taken out for auction. Therefore, the competition was rather intense. Halfway through the auction, another auction item was brought up. It was a piece of brocade, and it looked very old and worn. One could vaguely see that there were some blurry words on the brocade, and the brocade itself still had a weak divine power. But this item didn't seem to be some amazing treasure. Tang Tianyang said, "Everyone, the origin of this brocade is extremely extraordinary. Everyone should know that the human race also has a glorious history. In the history of the human race, there were 9 human emperors. Every human emperor was a stunning figure throughout history, and among the 9 human emperors, there was even an empress, and this empress was the 9th human emperor of the human race. The item that we are going to auction today is an imperial edict written by the 9th human emperor of the human race." A stone stirred up 1,000 ripples. When Tang Tianyang's voice fell, the surroundings immediately burst into an uproar. An imperial edict written by the 9th human emperor of the human race was too shocking. Of course, perhaps there was nothing special about this imperial edict itself, but the information behind this imperial edict was too shocking. Perhaps this imperial edict had something to do with the inheritance of the 9th human emperor of the human race. After the 9th human emperor of the human race fell, her inheritance had never appeared. Chapter 3881. The human emperor's edict had attracted a lot of people's interest. Therefore, it was foreseeable that many people would fight for it, and Lin Feng was determined to get it. The human emperor's edict, whether or not it was related to the orthodoxy of the 9th human emperor, Lin Feng was going to buy it, because it was the legacy of the human emperor. It belonged to the human clan. It should be in the hands of the human clan. It could not fall into the hands of the other clans. Lin Feng would not tolerate it if it fell into the hands of the other clans. "What's the starting price of this?" someone asked impatiently. They wanted to know the starting price of the human emperor's edict. The starting price is 10,000 immortal stones. Every bid, at least 100 immortal stones. Tang Tianyang said. Immortal stones were precious and rare. Therefore, it was not easy for cultivators to get a large amount of immortal stones. Even though Lin Feng had obtained all kinds of opportunities and the storage rings of many experts he had killed, he had only collected 4 to 5 million immortal stones at most. But now, Lin Feng had broken through continuously in a short period of time. Most of the immortal stones had been used up. However, Lin Feng had just robbed the Dragon Palace of the Azure Sea, so he had a lot of immortal stones now. He had about 30 to 40 million immortal stones from the Dragon Palace of the Azure Sea. This was the accumulation of the Dragon Palace of the Azure Sea over many years. It was unrealistic to ask a cultivator to take out so many immortal stones. 30,000 immortal stones. I'll pay 30,000 immortal stones. Immediately, a cultivator shouted his bid. He wanted to buy the human emperor's edict with 30,000 immortal stones. You want to buy the human emperor's edict with 30,000 immortal stones? You must be daydreaming. I'll pay 50,000 immortal stones. Someone continued to bid. Then, more and more cultivators joined the competition. 60,000 immortal stones. 70,000 immortal stones. 88,000 immortal stones. 100,000 immortal stones. The price kept rising. The human emperor's edict made many people extremely excited. Therefore, many cultivators were willing to pay a high price. They also wanted to get the human emperor's edict. If it had nothing to do with the orthodoxy of Renhuang, he could go to another place and send it to the auction house there for auction. In that case, even if he were to make a loss, it wouldn't be by much. Of course, it was also possible that they didn't make a loss. Instead, he would make a huge profit. If it was related to the orthodoxy of the human sovereign, it would be worth it no matter how many immortal stones he had to spend. The orthodoxy of Renhuang was a priceless treasure. In next to no time, the price soared to 500,000 immortal stones. And obviously, even though the price had reached 500,000 immortal stones, it was still not enough to extinguish everyone's burning desire. 500,000 immortal stones. 580,000 immortal stones. 600,000 immortal stones. 630,000 immortal stones. 650,000 immortal stones. The price continued to soar. As the price continued to rise, many cultivators began to withdraw from the competition. However, there were still many people participating in the competition. In a short period of time, those cultivators would not easily withdraw from this battle. 700,000 immortal stones. 730,000 immortal stones. 760,000 immortal stones. 800,000 immortal stones. 850,000 immortal stones. 880,000 immortal stones. 900,000 immortal stones. 950,000 immortal stones. 1 million immortal stones. When the price reached 1 million immortal stones, many cultivators who were still competing couldn't help but frown slightly. Those cultivators. In the end, they also chose to withdraw from the competition. Because the price of 1 million immortal stones was simply too high. Moreover, the final price would obviously be even higher. This price had already exceeded the budget of many cultivators and forces. If they continued to increase the price, it would definitely affect the original target of the auction. The remaining cultivators continued to participate in the competition. 1,050,000, 1,100,000, 1,500,000, 2 million immortal stones. The price continued to soar. When the price rose to 3 million immortal stones. After that, no one else made a new bid. After all, 3 million was indeed too high a price. 3 million immortal stones was enough for a top sect to operate for a long time. 3,500,000. At this moment, a voice rang out. It was the voice of a woman. It was none other than the white-robed female cultivator who had walked out of the undying realm. This white-robed female cultivator was indeed a cultivator who had walked out of the undying realm. She was really rich and overbearing. 4 million. At this moment, another voice rang out. The second cultivator made a bid. This was a young cultivator with a head full of blood-red hair. No one knew where he came from. He was also rich and overbearing. The white-robed woman couldn't help but frown slightly. She made a bid. 5 million. The white-robed woman raised the price by 1 million immortal stones. Obviously, she wanted to scare the other party away. 6 million. The blood-red-haired man was unmoved and continued to make a new bid. The white-robed woman frowned slightly. This price had already exceeded what she could afford. In the end, she didn't choose to continue bidding. Everyone. Is there anyone who wants to bid higher than 6 million? Tang Tianyang looked around. 6 million was definitely a sky-high price. Tang Tianyang had hosted the auction for more than 1,000,000 years. This was the first time such a high price had been offered. 6 million going once. 6 million going twice. 6 million going thrice. Just as Tang Tianyang was about to shout sold, Suddenly, a lazy voice rang out from one of the private rooms. 10 million immortal stones. I want this item. The cultivator who made the bid was none other than Lin Feng. When the cultivators in the auction house heard the words 10 million immortal stones, they couldn't help but gasp. Clearly, the person who made the bid was determined to get the human emperor's imperial decree. That was why he made such a shocking bid. The blood-red-haired cultivator originally thought that the human emperor's imperial decree was already in his bag. Therefore, he couldn't help but smile. However, when he heard the bid of 10 million immortal stones, his expression darkened. The fellow cultivator in this private room has raised the price to 10 million immortal stones. Is there anyone who wants to bid higher? Tang Tianyang couldn't help but sound a little excited. 10 million immortal stones could be said to be a huge milestone in the final price of an auction item. If the item could cross the threshold of 10 million immortal stones, it would definitely be an epic auction that would go down in history. Therefore, even the knowledgeable Tang Tianyang couldn't help but become extremely excited. 10 million going once, 10 million going twice, 10 million going thrice. Sold. After the hammer fell, the human emperor's imperial decree was sold for 10 million immortal stones. Chapter 3882. Not long after, the auction house's grand elder personally brought the human emperor's imperial decree to Lin Feng's private room. When the auction house's grand elder saw that the cultivator who bought the human emperor's imperial decree was so young, he was obviously shocked. However, he was not an ordinary person. Although he was shocked, he did not show it on his face. Young master, this is the human emperor's imperial decree. Please take a look at it. If there are no problems, we can proceed with the transaction now, the Grand Elder said. Lin Feng nodded and carefully looked at the human emperor's imperial decree. There were some ancient words on the human emperor's imperial decree, but Lin Feng did not know what they meant. It was an ancient human language that had been lost for a long time. There are no problems with the human emperor's imperial decree. Here are immortal stones. Lin Feng waved his hand, and a long river made of immortal stones flew out. There were 10 million immortal stones in the river. The auction house's grand elder kept all of the immortal stones. I won't disturb you anymore, young master. The grand elder cupped his fists and took his leave. The auction continued on. One by one, the auction items were brought out for auction. Lin Feng did not participate in the auction. Lin Feng did not take a closer look at the human emperor's imperial decree because this was not a good place to do so. If there were any anomalies, he would be exposed. About 40 to 50 auction items were brought out for auction. At this moment, a maidservant walked over with a tray. On the tray was a white jade box. Everyone. Next up is a healing immortal herb. This healing immortal herb is different from ordinary immortal herbs. It's very rare. Not only can it be used as the main ingredient to refine healing pills, but it can also be used to refine many precious immortal pills. As his voice fell, Tang Tianyang opened the white jade box, and an immortal medicine appeared in front of everyone's eyes. It was a white immortal fruit that looked like a dragon. Immortal dragon fruit. Nangong Xian Er's eyes lit up when she saw the immortal fruit. Is this the immortal dragon fruit? A cultivator exclaimed in shock. Clearly, there were people in the crowd who knew what was good for them. That's right. It's the immortal dragon fruit. Not even one immortal dragon fruit would appear in tens of thousands of years. This immortal dragon fruit. The starting price was 3,000 immortal stones. Let the bidding begin. Tang Tianyang said, 5,000, 10,000. Following that, many cultivators participated in the competition. The price of the immortal dragon fruit also soared, finally reaching a price of 300,000. Nangong Xian who had yet to make a move, placed a bid of 400,000 immortal stones. She was determined to get the immortal dragon fruit, because this was one of the elixirs that saved her mother's life. Immortal medicines were precious. However, the price of 100,000 immortal stones was already very high, even if the immortal dragon fruit was an extremely rare immortal medicine. The reasonable price was between 200,000 and 300,000. Therefore, Nangong Xian Er's bid had already exceeded the value of the immortal dragon fruit by more than 100,000 immortal stones. Naturally, no one joined in and continued to compete with Nangong Xian, for the celestial dragon fruit. In the end, the immortal dragon fruit was won by Nangong Xian. The auction continued, but Lin Feng and the other two no longer had any plans to participate. Lin Feng had obtained the human emperor's imperial decree from the auction, which could be said to be a pleasant surprise. Now, Lin Feng planned to go back and properly study the imperial decree. After Nangong Xian paid the immortal stones, the auction house gave the immortal dragon fruit to her. Both sides completed the transaction. Then, the three of them left the auction house. After returning to his residence, Lin Feng returned to his room and impatiently took out the human emperor's imperial decree. The silk cloth used to write the imperial decree wasn't a precious material. If it wasn't for the human emperor's power, the silk cloth would have been completely destroyed. Demon Lord, do you recognize these ancient words? Lin Feng asked. This time, the Demon Lord actually became silent. He didn't answer Lin Feng. Inside the demon orb, the Demon Lord stood up from the lonely grave. His eyes flickered, and there was a slight uncertainty. No one knew what he was thinking. Demon Lord, do you know? What do these ancient words mean? Lin Feng continued asking. The Demon Lord said, by the will of the heavens, the human emperor decrees. The heavenly dragon legion is to come to the imperial city as soon as possible. Lin Feng wasn't surprised that the Demon Lord could understand these ancient human words. Over the years, Lin Feng had discovered that the Demon Lord seemed to have studied all kinds of ancient words. When he heard the Demon Lord's words, Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. These words seemed to contain a lot of information. Could it be that the ninth human emperor is in danger? That's why he issued the imperial decree. He ordered the Heavenly Dragon Legion to return to the imperial city as soon as possible. I wonder what kind of power the Heavenly Dragon Legion is. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. The ninth human emperor was in existence from the era of titled gods. It was too distant. The matters of that era and the many powers of that era were shrouded in mystery to the people of the future. The Demon Lord said, the Heavenly Dragon Legion. It should be a powerful knight legion, right? Lin Feng asked. Demon Lord, do you know where the imperial city was built by the human emperor? The Demon Lord said, it's too distant. There's no way to investigate it. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. He had a feeling that the Demon Lord was hiding something. However, Lin Feng understood the Demon Lord very well. If the Demon Lord didn't want to say something, no matter how much he asked the Demon Lord wouldn't say anything. The Demon Lord still wouldn't say anything. Therefore, even though he felt that the Demon Lord was hiding something from him, Lin Feng didn't continue asking the Demon Lord. Lin Feng tried to use his divine will to sense the human emperor's edict. He hoped to find something. Time slowly passed by. Lin Feng felt that he was about to enter an ancient and vast world. That world seemed to be the era of the ninth human emperor. Suddenly, Lin Feng felt a light flash in front of his eyes. Then, he appeared in a great hall. In that great hall, a woman wearing an imperial robe and a crown was sitting on a dragon throne, writing an edict. It's her. When he saw that woman, Lin Feng's face suddenly revealed an extremely shocked expression. That woman should be the ninth human emperor. And that woman, Lin Feng had actually seen her before. That woman actually looked exactly the same as the Red World Fairy. Holy shit, am I seeing things? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. He rubbed his eyes and looked at the woman again. However, Chapter 3883. Lin Feng still remembered that when he saw the Red World Fairy fighting the Donghuang Bell, the son of Donghuang, and other existences, a female Holy Emperor appeared behind her. That female Holy Emperor seemed to be the ninth human emperor. Unfortunately, Lin Feng couldn't see her face clearly at that time because her appearance was very blurry. However, Lin Feng was sure that he hadn't seen wrongly. The ninth human emperor looked exactly like the Red World Fairy. Unfortunately, when Lin Feng wanted to confirm it, he could no longer see the ninth human emperor's face clearly. Whoosh! Lin Feng only saw a flash of light before his eyes, and he retreated from that world. That world wasn't real. It should be a spiritual world imprinted by the human emperor's imperial decree. Lin Feng happened to sense it and entered that spiritual world. Then, he saw an unbelievable scene. The Red World Fairy summoned the ninth human emperor before. Moreover, the ninth human emperor's shadow fused with the Red World Fairy. Now, I see that the ninth human emperor looks exactly like the Red World Fairy. What does this mean? Is it just a coincidence? Lin Feng's expression became uncertain because he knew that there was a huge secret hidden in this. He already had some guesses in his heart. If the truth was as he guessed, then this was going to be shocking. The human emperor's imperial decree. The human emperor's imperial decree. Are you related to the orthodoxy of the ninth human emperor or not? Is the ninth human emperor related to the Red World Fairy? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He felt that perhaps he needed to find the orthodoxy left behind after the fall of the ninth human emperor to solve the doubts in his heart. Lin Feng pinned his hopes on the human emperor's imperial decree. However, Lin Feng hadn't been able to find any useful clues for now. This would take time. Of course, Lin Feng also knew that this couldn't be rushed. Lin Feng put away the human emperor's imperial decree. The next day, Lin Feng, Nangong Xian and Mu Liushi set off for the Nangong family's ancestral land. After the Nangong family suffered a calamity, a portion of the family members who were lucky enough to survive escaped to the Nangong family's ancestral land. The Nangong family's ancestral land was very hidden. If one didn't know its location, they wouldn't be able to find it. Because Mu Liushi and Nangong Xian were there, Lin Feng didn't summon the three-headed viper. Instead, he boarded Nangong Xian's ancient ship with Mu Liushi and Nangong Xian to head to the Nangong family's ancestral land. Not long after they left the Divine Crow Island, Nangong Xian's, they blocked their way. Nangong Xian stopped. It was a cultivator with blood-red hair. He was the same one who had lost against Lin Feng when he had tried to steal the imperial edict. Nangong Xian's Nangong. Nangong Ong was in clan, however. This cultivator was not from the blood-hair race. He was a human cultivator. However, Lin Feng did not know why his hair was blood-red. Perhaps it was because of the mutation of his bloodline, just like some mutated dire beasts. Since berserk beasts could mutate in that case. Naturally, the human race could have mutated as well. Looks like this person came for me. You guys wait here. I'll go meet this person, Lin Feng said. Young master, be careful. Mu Liushi and Nangong Xian asked with concern. It's fine, Lin Feng replied nonchalantly. Then, he walked out of the cabin and glanced at the blood-haired cultivator in front of him. Then, he raised his eyebrows. He said, Fairy, you don't have to continue hiding in the void. If you have something to say, you can come out and say it face to face. Whoosh! With a flash of light, a woman stepped out of the void. She was none other than Yi Shiwen. It was the woman in white. She was a powerful figure from the Undying Realm. She smiled and said, Before the auction, we seem to have met before. Young master once heard me play the zither. Fairy, you have a good memory. That's right. I heard you play the zither in Yuntai River, but I didn't expect you to remember so many people. Lin Feng said, I don't remember everyone, but I can remember extraordinary people. And young master happens to be such a person. The woman in white said, I heard that you were from the Undying Realm. How should I address you? Lin Feng asked. My name is Tan Xioya. What's your name? The woman in white looked at Lin Feng. Ji. My name is Ji. Lin Feng replied. Then, he continued, Are the two of you here for the human emperor's imperial decree? Yes. The blood-haired man and Tan Xioya nodded at the same time. This thing belongs to me. You two can go back now. Lin Feng said lightly. If you want to live, then hand it over. If you want to die, you can continue to keep it. The man in crimson hair said indifferently. His eyes were crimson, which was extremely strange. Young master, it's better if you hand it over to avoid getting killed. Of course, I can give you some compensation, Tan Xioya said. Neither the man in crimson hair nor Tan Xioya saw Lin Feng as someone who could rival them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have faced Lin Feng as if everything was under their control. Tan Xioya instinctively felt that Lin Feng might be extremely extraordinary. But so what? No matter how extraordinary he was still far from being able to compare to her. I think the two of you are too arrogant, Lin Feng said. You only have one chance. If you can't catch it, there won't be a second chance. The man in crimson hair said indifferently. You should say that to yourself, Lin Feng said sarcastically. Ignorant and stupid. The man in crimson hair looked indifferent. He took a step forward. The endless blood sea surged. The world of blood sea directly shrouded Lin Feng. The world of blood sea instantly swallowed Lin Feng. God of blood sea. God of blood sea. A low voice came from the world of blood sea. Then, the blood aura in the world of blood rolled. The blood aura directly condensed into a blood man. Those people were all covered in blood. They were all holding blood-red blades and were moving towards Lin Feng. The blood man was the god of blood sea, the god that was born in the world of blood sea. At the same time, Tan Xiuya also attacked. Light of death. Then, Tan Xiuya displayed a powerful technique as well. Rays of the light of the Grim Reaper began to condense. The rays of light of death were extremely terrifying. Anyone who was touched by the light of death would have their lifespan instantly taken away. This was an extremely overbearing superpower, which was somewhat similar to Lin Feng's Eyes of Death. Chapter 3884. The blood-haired man and Tan Xiuya's attacks were very powerful. But so what? Lin Feng was not weak either. Facing the attacks of the two, Lin Feng also began to attack. Lin Feng walked in the void. God said, "Let there be light." So, between heaven and earth, there will be light. God said, "Let the light illuminate the world." So, light illuminates heaven and earth and dispels the darkness. God said that light represents justice and will defeat evil. So, when the light descends, the power of evil will be dispelled. Lin Feng's voice was low and sacred. It was like the godly voice of the heavenly Tao that came from endless time and space. His voice. When his voice fell, an ancient existence appeared behind Lin Feng. That ancient existence was surrounded by endless holy light. He was incomparably sacred and otherworldly. He was like the purest living thing between heaven and earth. It was a great radiant angel with 36 wings. This was the awakened great radiant angel of one of the 9 emperor clones. When the power of darkness and evil descended on the world, it would be dispelled by the righteous power of the great radiant angel. After Lin Feng summoned the great radiant angel, the light shone in all directions. The god of the blood sea, the light of the death god. These were the evil existence or evil power. They were destined to be suppressed by the great radiant angel. The gods of the blood sea turned into ashes one by one. The light of the death god dissipated. Even the huge blood sea that the blood-haired man had condensed turned into nothingness and disappeared without a trace. He came from beyond the heavens and can kill immortals with one sword. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He flew into the sky and then swooped down, turning into a ray of sword energy. Then, in midair, that ray of sword energy began to change continuously. In the blink of an eye, that ray of sword energy had become billions of rays. The densely packed rays of sword energy were endless, and all of them were aimed at the blood-haired man and the woman in white. The blood-haired man and the woman in white frowned slightly. They originally looked down on Lin Feng and did not think much of Lin Feng. However, now, they realized that they had underestimated Lin Feng. Lin Feng's battle prowess was far more powerful than they had imagined. Massacre of all worlds. The blood-haired man's voice was cold as he condensed an extremely powerful spell. Endless killing light condensed and shot towards the sword aura that Lin Feng had transformed into. 10,000 flowers wither. Suddenly, Tan Xiuya also displayed a powerful absolute art. Countless flowers appeared in the sky and bloomed in an instant. When they collided with the sword qi formed by Lin Feng, the flowers instantly withered. This was an extremely powerful divine ability that blocked the sword qi formed by Lin Feng. After the two divine abilities collided, it was hard to tell who had the upper hand. Lin Feng turned back into his real body and smiled icily. You two are quite strong, aren't you? But if that was all he had, Only death awaits him today. Lin Feng's words were extremely domineering. He did not take the two of them seriously at all. Shameless boasting. The blood-haired man and Tan Xiuya could not help but laugh coldly. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. Just as he was about to attack the two of them, Lin Feng suddenly saw a few cultivators flying over from afar. It was the son of Donghuang, the lord of the undead, and the others. After seeing them, Lin Feng's expression changed drastically. These guys, they had actually walked out of the ancient battlefield. Could the ancient warship no longer restrain them? Let's go. Lin Feng no longer paid attention to the blood-haired man and Tan Xiuya. Instead, he quickly flew towards the ancient warship in the distance. When Nangong Xian, and Mu Liushi saw Lin Feng flying over, they both flew out of the ancient warship. Lin Feng took Nangong Xian, and Mu Liushi and left through the void. This change was too sudden. The blood-haired man and Tan Xiuya were caught off guard. When they came back to their senses, Lin Feng had already disappeared with Nangong Xian, and Mu Liushi. Even if they wanted to chase after them, they did not know where to go. It's that brat. A beautiful female cultivator said with a frown. This breathtakingly beautiful female cultivator was the transformation of the extremely ugly female cultivator from before. We don't have time to deal with him. Let him go for now, the son of Donghuang said. Then, the group of people walked towards the Divine Crow Island. They did not know why they had come to the Divine Crow Island. The crimson-haired man and Tan Xiuya frowned as they looked at the group of people. They didn't know who they were. However, the blood-haired man and Tan Xiuya felt that this group of people was extremely terrifying. They quickly left and did not return to the Divine Crow Island. Half a month later, Lin Feng and the other two arrived at a sea surrounded by white fog. This sea was called the Sea of Illusions. It was said that, within the illusory sea region, there were powerful natural illusory arrays everywhere. These natural illusory arrays could easily trap people to death. Therefore, very few cultivators would choose to enter this place. The ancestral land of the Nangong family was built in the Sea of Illusions. Nangong Xian, took out a bronze lamp. The bronze lamp floated in the air and brought the three of them to the depths of the Sea of Illusions. A bronze lamp. It can break all illusions, Nangong Xian said. The bronze lamp brought Lin Feng and the others through layers of illusions. 5 days later, Lin Feng saw an island in front of him. This island was the ancestral land of the Nangong family. The ancestral land of the Nangong family was hidden in the Sea of Illusions. Even if one knew about it, one would not be able to find it without a special method. Only Nangong Xian, and a few elders in the Nangong family knew about it. Ordinary people did not know about it. The three of them landed on the island. Seeing that Nangong Xian, had returned, people came to welcome her. When the Nangong family was at its peak, there were hundreds of thousands of direct descendants and side branches. But now, there were only 8 or 9 people left in the ancestral land of the Nangong family. So many of their clansmen had died in that calamity. To the Nangong clan, that catastrophe had left them with too much pain and grief. At the same time, they had engraved the hatred in their hearts. Seventh sister. Who is this little brother? Seventh sister actually brought him home. Could he be seventh brother-in-law? There was a girl among the people who came to welcome Nangong Xian. This girl was called Nangong Xiaoyu, and she was Nangong Xian's cousin. She asked mischievously with a grin, "You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories."